All right. Party people in the place to be. You are in the exact right place to be tonight because we have a party popping off tonight. This is the 25th episode of Pink Buzz. And as you can see, we have a full house full of all kinds of rad people. No new faces to the show, but whatever, man. We love all these people. I, of course, am Johnny, and we're just gonna go around and introduce ourselves. Going to Joe and Goose and so forth. So, go ahead, take it away, Joey. How you doing tonight?
All right, man. I'm here every week, so I don't really, I don't think I need to say much. So I'll pass it on to Goose, man.
Hi, everybody. I'm Goose. I'm here once again, having a great time as always. Excited to have some special guests on for our 25th episode. And so I guess I'll pass it on down to Schlebzig.
Hey, Schlebzig, also known as Sam Blanchard, but Schlebzig is the pen name. I make comics. Rambled like a drunken grandpa on one of the early episodes. So pass it on to the next guy whose name tag is last, so I don't know who he is.
Aaron.
Is that me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Aaron Reese. I am the creator of a comic book called Black Blizzard, which is coming up on its 3rd issue.
And
Perfect.
it's amazing. Yep.
Thanks.
Next up.
I am Melissa, and I have a publication called Horror Geek Life, and we review and talk about horror, geek, comic, gaming, just kind of all of the above. And it's a oh, there's Matt. And so yeah, that's my publication.
And on to Mr. Adrian.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. That was kind of, hey. Hi, my name is Adrian Cleric. I'm the creator of a book called Tricovi. I'm just about to release issue 1 and 2. Kickstarter just finished off, and that's a lame intro. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's all right, man.
I should have written something down. I got nothing.
Well, didn't you just set up your shop where people can go buy the book digitally?
It is set up, yeah. So it's 3presscomics.ca. So you can get the digitals, and then you can pre-order the physical copies. So those are actually coming from the printers next week. So I should be getting those in the mail like pretty quick.
Oh no, but it's Canada.
But it's Canada.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, you're going to spend $75 on a $5 comic with shipping.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
Well,
I have a solution
and-
for that, but I people want to party, not talk business, right?
Can we talk business later?
Oh no, I had a couple of you guys on, especially at the echelon you're in, to try to swap some secrets because that is part of what the show is. We want to help bolster you guys, and if you guys have really helpful comments to one another for Kickstarter and whatnot, yeah, feel free to let that stuff slide on the show. I mean, as long as it's above board, but it's Kickstarter, so it should be, right?
Well, what I've done is I've made my books available on Amazon Print on Demand, which lets them be printed in country. So, now you want to buy if you wanted to buy my $5, my $10 comic book from me at my Etsy shop and ship it to Canada, I'd have to charge you like an extra $25 for shipping.
Yeah.
And if someone's going to be spending $35 on my comic book, I'd like to be the guy that gets most of that. So Amazon's got their Kindle print on demand system. Because it prints in country, it basically is the same price for everybody wherever they've got a hub. So like if somebody in Canada or Australia or Japan wants to buy my stuff, I can direct them there if they're international, and they don't get ripped off by the postal system. I get a slightly smaller cut of the profits, but I also don't have any of the hassle because the Amazon system is like entirely like no touch. Like they order it, they fulfill it, they print it, they package it, they ship it, they do everything. So, after I did the math, I figured out, that that money that I'm losing from the commission, like the direct markup, like I pay them print, I have them in my house, and I pack them up and ship them. That I don't have to buy an envelope. I don't have to spend time putting it together. I don't have to drive to the post office to drop it off. And it makes up for that drop. It's a really good kind of way around that international problem.
Yeah.
Shipping comics talk. Yeah, shipping comics talk. It's important talk. It's pretty boring, but it's really important figuring out how to ship comics. So yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the Amazon system works really well for that international problem.
Well, see, that's way better than my idea, because when me and Joe were conversing about it, I was just going to become like a comic book coyote and like drive them across the border into Canada to ship them. But that's not feasible either.
That would be great. But if you don't live close to the border, you're still like driving back and forth.
I live in Texas.
The border is brutal too.
Yeah.
Good luck smuggling comics into Canada.
Well, the border's open now, so you can attempt it at least.
You're gonna see me on the news, man arrested with thousands of comic books trespassing into Canada.
That you didn't declare in customs.
Yeah, but that's way more outlaw. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned customs, because I had something shipped from Canada. It was a Green Lantern action figure, and I was working out of town, and my wife messaged me, and she goes, "Hey, did you get some more action figures?" And I was like, "No, like I haven't bought any action figures. What are you talking about?" And then she just sends me the box, and customs wrote on there like contents, action figure, toy for children. And I was just like, no, customs sold me out.
At least it didn't come out with like duty tax due. That happened on a gift print I sent somebody once. And I was so embarrassed. Because it was one of the first things I had shipped to the UK, and it was a gift for my first Instagram follower. So when I hit that like 1K, I gave a free commission to my first follower and my 1,000th follower. As you would know if you read the Schlepsig Collection #1, available on Amazon. So I found my first follower, this guy in London, and I shipped it to him, and I made the mistake of insuring it. And if you insure it, it has value, and if it has
value on it,
you have to pay value-added tax when it crosses the border. And so the guy who sent this gift to, he's like, "Oh, I came over, I had to pay customs on it." I mean, luckily he was really happy with it. He didn't mind having to pay customs, but I was very embarrassed that had happened.
Oh, no.
But we have a new face. Manny, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and talk about your book for a minute?
No, I didn't come here to talk about my book. I came here to say what up.
What's up, Manny? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man! Congratulations on the 25th. I'm stoked you guys are out here preaching the good work of the good word of sequential art. That word needs to be spread far and wide. The most we can do is support sequential art, because that's an awesome medium. Some say the best medium. So thanks for doing what you all do. And it's nice to finally meet Joe and Goose. I haven't seen y'all. I haven't met you before, but it's nice to see you and the other panel.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet you.
So I got the invite.
Yeah, glad you popped on.
I don't got a lot of time. I might come on a little bit later. I just wanted to come on and just say what up and just say congrats and thanks so much for doing what you guys do.
Oh, if you got a moment, our main topic is comics of 2021. Do you have an opinion? Like, what do you think of them? And if so, what are some of your favorites?
Oh, let's see. What do I got? Well, I got to give a shout out to, I'm a big Dune fan and I read like all the prequels. So Boom's been doing the House Atreides series. So I recommend that to anybody. They go like strictly by the book. Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson are the writers. So beautiful book. Highly recommend that one.
Mm-hmm.
The favorite thing I picked up, it's not a 2021 book, but I got to show it to you. This is my pride and joy. I picked this up. This is the Madman Library Edition, full size.
Yeah.
I'm not done with it, and I haven't read the series, so no spoilers. But I mean, look at just how beautiful this book is. Colors are awesome. Laura Allred totally steals the show. This is just like my pride and joy. Like, I would have paid anything for it. So highly recommend that one. The other thing I wanted to show, which was, I don't know if people picked this up, but Apocalypse 5000. Anybody pick that one up? This is this is a remake of the Ken Landgraf. Anyway, it's just totally my style. Just like crazy, chaotic punk rock. So yeah, cool. I'm all about the punk rock sequential art scene. So, and that's how I got turned on to the graphic vandalism. Actually, he had some solid recommendations. So, mad respect to Johnny and all the work that he does.
Oh yeah, I'm always out looking for the trailblazers, and I got a lot of them on the panel here tonight, man. Like I said, El Croto, it's my stuff, man. You sent me the cover for issue 5. Let me pull that up really quick. When is the campaign for that gonna start?
Yeah, so EK5, we're just about done with it. I'm going to lay the campaign probably the first part of the year. I'm getting married, so I have like a lot of stuff to do with that.
Congrats.
But and we're also launching a new title. I'm sending you an ash can, so that's in the mail. You should get that in the next week or so of a new title that we're launching. We're like totally experimenting with something, so I'd really love your feedback before we go full bore on it.
Oh,
but,
you got it, man.
But yeah,
congrats on getting married, man.
Yeah, thanks. We've been together for like a long time, so it's been a long time coming. But no, we're real excited, and as many of you know, probably it kind of took the because she's seen me do previous campaigns, and she's like, I can't have you doing a campaign on podcast, streaming 5 nights a week, worried about fulfillment on the month of our wedding because we're getting married in January and we're just finishing the book now. So I'm like, well, I could do a 30-day campaign in December, crank it out, fulfill. Like, our wedding's not till the 23rd. I could get
get that Christmas money.
I'll get that fulfillment done by like the 17th. No problem. Like, we'll have 5 days to like really focus. So that's gonna fly. I think I'm gonna do it after that. So
I think that's a wise choice.
Yeah, I mean, the team's been doing great, and they're really excited to get it out. So I feel bad for the team, but I just can't focus on it. But yeah, EK5's coming out. We're happy with it. We're excited. And yeah, man, Crazy Ape Indie Comics. That's what we're making. So yeah, we're super pumped, and it's super fun. Yeah, it's been a fun year.
Yeah, you're going to get my full feedback. I can't wait to check it out, too, man. Like, I didn't know you were working on something new, so glad to hear it at the party, man. Like, that's awesome news for tonight.
Yeah, we got a new title coming. So I had an idea. I pitched it to some peeps, and they contributed, and we produced just a really quick ash can just to see if it sticks. We're just kind of trying to experiment with the page panel format. I love the page panel format. That's what I'm all about, is that jigsaw puzzle, trying to figure out how to tell that story with impact, right? That's something that I don't think movies and other mediums can do. That's something that's unique to comics. So we really wanted to grasp that and position our Crazy Ape indie comic style. And I mean, we'll see. You'll see it. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're trying stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. Let's keep this party moving. Reese, what is your particular take on comics of 2021, and what are some of your favorites, man, that you've checked out?
Kind of a weird one, because my favorite one of, I think, this year. First of all, I don't read enough comics, but my favorite one was Maneater Cursed. I think it's by I think her name's Chelsea Kane. Mm-hmm. So just. The comic is interrupted every few pages, like dedicates an entire page to a graphic design joke. It's a genius. It's a brilliant comic book. Other than that, I've been reading a bunch of old stuff. I've been reading a lot of local stuff. I've been reading I've been reading a lot of girl comics for some reason, but there's one called Panty Vigilante, which has been super funny. Let's see if I can pull it up. I don't know if I have it, but that's been good. And I've also been picking up a bunch of Black Caravan stuff because honestly, I can't believe how good the production quality is on an independent comic creator now. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They also do I think all their titles have the cardstock covers and stuff too, so that's always nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous production. So I've been reading a lot of those. The quality varies pretty widely, but some of them are amazing.
Yeah, so that's a subsidiary imprint to Scout, I think, Black Caravan.
Right. Yeah, I went across their webpage a couple times to look at what else I could find. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty solid.
Look at this bombastic bearded bastard. I love it.
How you doing, brother? First time to see you, man. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, nice meeting all you guys on Facebook. I'm all right, having a bit of issues here. I don't know if you can understand me or if
it's a little muffled.
Yeah, you're a little choppy, bud.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm gonna try to fix that. I might jump back in here now.
All right.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's cool. It happens. It's StreamYard, man. That's how it is when you get a couple people on here. Adrian, same question, brother. 2021, how's it been treating you as a reader?
You know what? I've been reading a lot because like I've been so busy with like making my own book, I guess, right? So, so the last thing I read, Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, probably because it's like hardly any dialogue in it. So, you know, it's I don't know, it's just a gorgeous book. I love it. It's like the first like 2/3 of the book. There's like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 words, and it's you know, it's just proving that, you know, we don't need letterers. Kidding. I find lately I've just been just mostly going through books, using them as like reference manuals, right? Like how-tos, right? Laying out certain pages and all that. I've really dissected like Copra the last like year. And it's funny, it's like I kept pronouncing the creator's name wrong for like the last 2 years. So I've always said it was like Michael Fife, but it's like Michelle Fife. So I'm listening to this podcast and this you know, she's interviewing him and she sounds very refined, you know, and she, you know, my guest today, Michelle Fife. I'm like, yeah, really? I thought she was mispronouncing it. Then he comes on and then he mentions his name, Michelle Fife, and anyway, so yeah, so completely dissecting that. And then hitting up like the dollar bins. Like I'm getting like books from like 1986. So this is Black Moon. Our future's only hope is here today. So it's the origin issue too. Yeah, so like, I was more interested in like, you know, how like they lay out their like, you know, intro page with all like the legalities and all that. But the book's great. It's just this great DIY vibe to it. You know, it's like obviously the guy's got a thing for the Punisher because his character is the Punisher with a Spider-Man mask. So yeah, I wish I had something more meaty to present, but this year's been an absolute.
Who puts out that Black Moon book? Like, I would like to try to track that down. That looks so rad.
So Black Moon. Created, written, illustrated by James Shalit or Chalet. I don't know. Black Moon, care of U.S. Comics. Hey, it's got an address: 107 East Lancaster Avenue, Wayne, Pennsylvania. So if you're in Wayne, I don't know. There's a phone number too. So yeah, U.S. Comics. But it's 1985, so I'm not sure where Mr. Chalet is nowadays, but good looking book.
Nice.
Real quick, I just wanted to comment on the Michelle Fife thing because they put me on my comic ended up on Cartoonist Kayfabe real quick, and they said it looks like Michel Fife, and I go, who? So I actually had to look him up recently and figured out who he was. I really like him though.
You know, it's funny with Michel Fife, like the whole Copra thing. He's almost convinced me, just to stick with just being like an independent and not really trying to. It's like the last few interviews I've watched with him. He's like kind of like talked me out of like chasing after publishers. You know, I don't know what it is. Like I submitted to like, you know, you guys gave me a couple like contacts. So I sent out a bunch of like, you know, hey, but now it's like, I don't know. He's really inspiring. Like, you know, like for an indie, he's just kind of doing his own thing. And like I said, he's such a historian. You know, if you ever read his posts or his interviews and that, like he's introduced me like to so many like different artists and writers, and then he's, you know, every week he seems to talk about, you know, panel layouts, you know, and he just gives you so many like you know, so many references, you know, that, you know, makes you rethink, you know, your own work. So the guy's just like he's an absolute student of the genre.
Yeah. Aside from Copra, his other work's great too. Panoramic and
that was great.
I mean, he is incredible. And his G.I. Joe comic rock too. A lot of people don't talk about Santa Muerta, but like.
Oh, Santa Muerta, yeah. So I didn't read. He had a little that Superman story, and it was like a compilation. It was like 3 or 4 artists in one book, and he had like a short
red and blue, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Red,
Does anybody read that? Like, how was?
I don't read Superman. Joey, you read Superman. How was it?
I only read one, the one with James Stokoe in it. So, yeah, I don't.
Actually, you know what? Actually, I have been reading Superman 78. So I really enjoyed that quite a bit. So
don't highlight that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it, but I'll try to tough it out till the end of the month. We'll see.
It's great, Joe.
Yeah.
I didn't read Superman 78, but I did pre-order the Batman 89 graphic novel that I guess it'll come out after it's done printing, but I'm really looking forward to that. Michael Keaton's my second favorite Batman.
About that, I have to ask Schlepsig, did they rip off your guys' idea? Because you told us, long before I heard DC was doing a Batman 89, that a bunch of you indie outlaw guys were doing a Batman 89 outlaw thing. Did they steal your guys' idea with that, or what?
I can't imagine that they stole the idea. They probably came up with it on their own. I mean, they own the property, and, you know, the movie was a touchstone. You have a new movie coming out. So, you know, it's a pretty natural progression to come up with the idea on your own. And being the rights holder probably gives you a real advantage.
But still, like you announced it, and then like 2 weeks later, I heard DC was doing it, and I'm just like, I wonder where they got that idea.
Yeah, no, they probably came up with it on their own. The idea was actually one Manny Gomez was the one who launched. Manny Gomez is one of the reviewers for Monkeys Fighting Robots magazine out in Florida. So he's a great booster, a huge enthusiast. Writes a bunch of really cool reviews for that mag. But that's really his thing, and we're still plugging away on it. Mm-hmm. I'm knocking out a couple other deadlines before I finish up my story.
Awesome. So 2021, man, how's it been for you as a reader, and what have you checked out that you love, Sam?
For me, I think let's see, it's over here because I keep looking at it. I'm going to knock over 100 other things. This book, the EPHK Marth Vallis. This is probably the most incredible thing I've seen come out this year. I mean, aside, of course, from my own work and all the projects I've been part of this year. But I'm at EPHK Epic, whatever. I don't know if you pronounce that or if you say the letters or if it's pronounced luxury yacht. I met him through a scam that we all got sucked into. I think I mentioned on your show. Was that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
That there was the Numero magazine scam, and he was one of the artists, and I was one of the artists, and we all got in this big group and we're talking. So I met him through that, and I've been checking out his work, and this came out. It is just mind-blowingly good. Just indie comics right now, because there's so little friction to put out your own stuff and self-publish. There's just so many good things, you can't possibly know all of them. This one blew me away because it's really the art's fantastic, the storytelling is very innovative. There was a lot to learn just from looking at it as a maker, and it's just really enjoyable as a reader. So that's probably my my number one hit of 2021.
Nice.
That is not my own, because the Schlepsy collection and Red were obviously huge. Sold dozens of comics.
Dozens.
I own them both. And they're both on my top list too, especially Red. When I saw your work for the follow-up that you posted on Instagram, oh my God, it looks so good. Your art's even gotten so much better.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's coming out on the magazine you mentioned before, Robots Fighting Monkeys.
Robots magazine. Yeah, I'm doing a 6-page short for them, and it's looking cool. I was working on that today. I got page 4 kind of done. I drew a big demon Cthulhu tentacle thing that I'll probably redraw. And a giant Dark Crash and that. But yeah, I'm bringing back Red for this short, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
The Chica Tigre, are we going to be seeing more of her? Because that strip was absolute fire, dude. I love it. Like, she needs to have her own series, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that is actually a it's a golden age or silver age or something. It's a public domain character originally, Tiger Girl, that was republished in the 60s, in 1968. She had like a 1 issue in 1968 that was just bizarre, and had like this kind of like psycho feminist trappings on top of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was respectful. It's not like trashing that, but it was just kind of its time in 68.
Octoberina type stuff.
No, it was goofier than that.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lady in a tiger stripe bikini, fighting a dog-themed, dog-themed villain with her pet tiger, that she keeps with her in Manhattan somehow. So it was just like fun. So I thought, I'd love to riff on that because it's just kind of a goofy character. But her being last published in 60s, the copyright situation is a little iffy. So I, kind of twisted up and came up with Chica Tigre, and it's just kind of one of the things. Like when I'm doodling, I doodle Chica Tigre sometimes. I got a couple other goofy shorts in the background. Chicken, of course, is still cooking. And a bonus chicken story is being built, where I'm reimagining the first 2 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except with maladjusted adult Commando Chicken. But I'm working in like that black and white Zipatone style that Eastman and Laird worked in, and that was from our What If night. I came up with the idea, the Cartoons Kayfabe Ringside Seats, Ringside Thology draw session. But here I am, I'm rambling like a drunken grandpa again. We haven't heard from Mel yet.
Yeah. Mel, 2021, how's it been for comics and you?
It's been good. You know, I've been diving back into comics after taking a little bit of a hiatus. And so I've been kind of catching up. First, the one that was not released in 2021 that I'm absolutely like in love with is the Black Monday Murders. I just finished volume 2 of that, and I cannot wait for more. Those were just so good. So, but,
who recommended that book to you?
Matt did.
Fulci. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the ones that have been released this year that I really love is the Silver Coin. I've been all about that, and so I just finished volume 1, and I loved it. But
have you read the latest issue, number 6?
I have not yet. So I keep hearing such good things, but I haven't got to read it yet. I read volume 1, but of course it doesn't include 6, so
look,
I can't wait.
Walsh's color palette on number 6.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yes.
It's so good. I think this is his best issue yet. So just visually, it's amazing. It's really good. Yeah.
I can't wait. So A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I know it was mentioned, but gosh dang, I loved it. Hi, Elle. And so, you know, like you said, it didn't have very much dialogue, but it was a beautiful comic, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So that was a big highlight. I started the Me You Love in the Dark. I got through the first 3 issues of that, and I enjoyed that one. So that one's on my pull, and we'll keep seeing where that goes. Yeah, there you go. Especially with where 3 left off, I'm like, okay, that went big. So I want to see where this goes next.
Also, best title ever.
Yes, I love the title. That's actually what kind of drew me in first, was just the title, and then, you know, figuring out it's like this haunted house type story, which I love. So I'm really enjoying that one.
I hate the title because I always fumble it when I have to bring it up on the show.
I'm
always like, the fucking dark one, whatever. The thing in the dark book there, and people have to correct me. Yeah.
What is it with titles nowadays, though? Like, you know, it's like titles, like, you know, growing up, it used to be like Defenders and whatever, like one name. Now it's like every goddamn it's like a Smith song, right? You know, they got to have like
it's the Fiona Apple album.
That's so true.
I think they started rebelling against film titles who took the title of books and just reduced it to one word somewhere in the title of the book.
My latest, the one I'm about to start, is the After Dark Anthology. The horror anthology. Super excited about this. I just got it. But Man-Eater Curse was mentioned. And I was laughing kind of to myself when you mentioned it, because I've read the first few of that series. I love it, but I didn't realize at first that the ads on the back were fake. I thought they were real, and I'm like, oh, look at this like cute like bug. I think it was like an insect ad, like a you know, and then it's like, if you don't want your kid to die and like get eaten by bugs, like spray this on.
Yeah.
So I started reading. I was like, what is this? And
those are always fun when they do that.
I mean, it's so real, and I love the intermissions of those placements within. That's a really fun, cute series. So I've been enjoying that one too. But so I'm just trying to get a little caught up.
Sweet. It's awesome you're getting back into books.
Yeah.
Comic books, man. Yeah.
I picked up Swamp Dogs. You know, the guys that wrote that, I mean, they're so great, and they gave my publication a couple of exclusive variants for that. Nice. So I had to pick that up. Like, I was so excited to, and so that's on my list now, and I'm gonna definitely see where that goes. I want to see more of that Swamp Dog action that it starts out with back in the Civil War. So yeah,
did you catch Black Caravan, right?
Yes, that's Black Caravan. Yeah.
Did you catch on the cover where Fox Brown is copping a feel? Yeah, she cops a little feel on the cover, man. She grabs a little ass.
I love that cover so much. Of course, that wasn't my exclusive cover. We had some other awesome covers, but I love that cover, and I do love that cardstock. It's just sexy to like feel it in your hand, you know, as you're reading it. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna try this again with our buddy Chase. Dude, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Chase. You might know me as I Comment on Comics. Can you hear me this time?
You're a little garbled, but you'll do. No worse than Goose Goose sounds.
Internet problems and my hair was muffling my mic, so I had to put it back.
It's understandable, sir.
Yeah. Sorry about all that, but nice to be here.
Cool.
It's nice to have you on, man.
So, 2021, man. How have comics been treating you, and what are some of your favorites of this year, brother?
Oh, shit. Comics have been treating me great. 2021, it's gotten me through most of this stuff. I've since the pandemic, I've quit my job, and I've been home taking care of kids full time. I mean, my wife started a business from here, so comics are my sanity. They're how I get away from everything.
Yeah.
So, and let's see what I'm reading. I got a couple things. I have my box in front of me. Obviously, I think everyone's reading That Texas Blood. It's been amazing. Also, I'm really Primordial. That started off pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really digging that. I know that it wasn't 2021 that ended in it, and Carmen is probably my favorite thing that I have finished in 2021.
Yeah,
Carmen's amazing.
It was a good book, man. Yeah.
That artist is showing off in that book.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah,
I've never
the
thought
landscapes, everything.
So great.
He draws a skeleton from every single angle.
It's amazing. Issue 2, when she's just started swimming through all the sky, was when I was completely hooked. I was like, this is great. Loved it. I think I've noticed I'm getting a lot less Marvel and DC, and everything I'm getting is mostly Image or I'm getting some like Caravan or Ahoy. I've noticed everything is less Marvel and DC lately.
Preaching to the choir, man.
Marvel and DC I'm really getting is I'm getting X-Men Legends just because I love all the people who are making it. And Brett Booth started off, and I love that Brett Booth covers. I'm getting Blue and Gold because I'm a sucker for Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. But other than that, it's mostly Radiant Black's awesome. Just this year, I've read Sweet Tooth. It was amazing.
Sweet Tooth?
I had a 2021 reading. And I've just been plowing through comics. Like I downloaded Hoopla, and I've discovered Mark Russell. So I'm going through all of his stuff. I just read his Snagglepuss stuff, and I love Not All Robots. That has started off so good.
Have you read his Flintstone stuff?
Not yet, but I did see that it was on Hoopla, so I have it marked to be another thing that I picked up.
I just recently read through both volumes like 2-3 weeks ago, and it's still as great as ever.
Yeah, everyone tells me the fast read is so good, you just can't put it down.
But Second Son from Mark Russell's pretty fucking rad too. I enjoyed Second Son a lot.
Oh yeah? You know what? Another one that's not 2021, but I just read and love is Murder Falcon. Murder Falcon is sweet.
Oh, did it make you cry?
God, yeah, dude. Like I wasn't expecting that end like that. And in my head, when I explain it to people, it sounds like I'm explaining a movie. So like one scene is just like a sweet death metal band. There's rock and there's monsters fighting everybody. Like I can see it in my head happening so great. I love it.
No, I am well known. You can ask Joe or Johnny. Like books make me weep. Like I'm a very emotional man child. But Murder Falcon did. I am. Murder Falcon did me dirty. Every time I read it, I just burst out in tears. Like I'm such a giant man baby. But it's it's so good.
And Daniel Ward Johnson's so good at drawing like movement. Like it looks like they're spreading. It looks like these things are fighting. And his Better Bill is great too. I'm gonna go find Extremity. I haven't read that yet, but I really want to.
Or go pick up Dead Earth Wonder Woman. That one's really good too.
Oh yeah, Dead Earth.
How come nobody ever talks about Space Mullet when they talk about Daniel Warren Johnson? Now, Space
or
Mullet
Ghost Fleet.
Well, Well, Space Mullet's one of his that he wrote and drew himself. Ghost Fleet he did with that diva, but yeah, less on that. But yeah, dude, Space Mullet, if you haven't checked it out, it's a really, really good comic, and as funny as the name sounds, don't let it fool you. It's just as depressing as the rest of DWJ stuff.
So it isn't a Trailer Park Boys parody or anything like that? It's not like Trailer Park Boys in Space or anything?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking some kind of James Stucco red, but like, no, it's pretty cut and dry space drama. But it's drawn really well, you know. It's Daniel Warren Johnson to the bone.
Nice.
I still want to find his ash can for Old Man Skywalker so goddamn bad, but it's so expensive everywhere I look.
Sell some organs, man.
You gotta have a couple.
Any of you guys want to buy a testicle?
No.
Y'all can have my
Hard
third.
pass.
Y'all can have my third one. I don't care.
On that note,
I think you're gonna go see a doctor. That might not be a testicle, Goose.
we got a special message from a friend of the show, John Lees. He couldn't be here with us tonight, but he did want to send his regards and his picks, and it's really cool.
Hiya, it's your pal John Lees. Congratulations to the team at Pink Buzz on your 25th episode anniversary, the quarter century. Wishing you all the best for the next 25 episodes and beyond. As far as comics in 2021 go, I think it's been a really good year for comics. There's been some quality titles out there, stuff like The Department of Truth, The Nice House in the Lake, Proctor Valley Road, Sea of Sorrows, Homesick Pilots, That Texas Blood, the Reckless series of graphic novels. I think there's been some really quality titles out there, and there's already some really cool stuff coming up in 2022 that I can't wait to read.
That's so cool. Like, he's such a gentleman, man. He got to go to Thought Bubble. That's his first con that he's gone to since the plague broke out. So I'm wishing him a really fun weekend at the con. I hope he doesn't get any Smurfs at his booth. But even if he does, I'm pretty sure John will handle it like a scholar. But one thing that I like that he brought up that I haven't heard yet else tonight, which is my favorite probably, that's not a book written by somebody that's on the panel, is Homesick Pilots, man. I gotta admit, just that character Tift, the living videotape that murders people, and the ghost mechs, like, it is probably one of the most exciting comics out there. And then Casper Wingard's art, just, oh man, like, I know you guys are all really accomplished artists yourself, so I figured you guys would get a bit of a kick out of his work, you know, because she's coloring.
Johnny, do you have the covers handy?
Yeah, I got the...
All right, you want to post the covers up, and I'll just let the people know which episodes all these guys were on, so if they want to go check out those episodes, they could go and check out our old episodes with all these creators that have been on.
Well, it also counts as my favorite comics of the year, man. We got
Hell yeah.
Zombie Date Night by Steve Arena. He was on which issue? 5, right?
Episode 6.
We have, of course... Oh, man, this thing blew me away. I can't believe just how much fun and just badassness this book is. This is Black Blizzard by our buddy Aaron Reese, who is here tonight.
That was on episode 19, if people want to go check that out.
That's really pretty.
That's nice.
Thanks.
It's beautiful.
We have Trakovi by our buddy Adrian Cleric.
Yes.
And
that was episode 22.
22. And this is the Schlepsig collection by our buddy Sam Blanchard, Mr. Schlepsig himself. This contains so many just rad shorts and the preview for Chicken Crosses the Road. And this was another one of our really early episodes. Really happy
episode 8.
8? I thought it was episode 4, but...
Oh yeah, no. Me and Joe still didn't figure out which way to flick the boogers yet by episode 4. So yeah, would be way too terrified to have you on that early on. But joining us, we have another great compatriot of the show, Miss L. How are you doing this fine evening?
Hi guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yay.
So where's is your partner in crime going to be showing up soon?
Apparently, Canada has sports, so he'll be here in 10 minutes.
Canada has sports?
Yeah, apparently.
I thought it was
like
just
water polo.
I thought it was just maple syrup.
Yeah, he was like, Canada's playing tonight. I'm like, what does that mean? What are they playing?
the whole state.
All of Canada's playing.
I can't believe you missed out on that, Adrian and Joe.
Yeah, I guess you didn't make the cut. I guess
dedication. No, I was gonna say y'all got invited, but y'all'd rather come here and hang out with us.
Okay.
Maybe it depends. It depends what sport we're talking about.
Sounds like Joe didn't get invited.
And
but
how much?
Adrian, I'm glad that you get out on that.
And how much they'd be paying me? Got a
Aren't
mortgage to pay.
playing soccer right now?
Yeah, it's the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah. They've been doing pretty good, actually.
I know my son-in-law is always like sending like smack talk from Portland to my daughter in Canada about when the Canadian team is playing the Portland team. So that's the only way I stay involved with that.
Yeah, I don't sports, so
Yeah.
I'm
I
out
don't
of the loop.
sports.
I had to Google what's Canada doing tonight to figure out because I didn't want to ask him like
they're
what?
drinking Molson's and eating syrup. That's it.
Yeah, it's craft dinner night in Canada. Like it's craft dinner and soccer. I think or football. Do you call it up there? Or what do you guys call soccer in Canada?
Yeah.
Soccer, whatever.
I've got most of a Canadian tuxedo on right now.
You do?
Oh yeah.
So L 2021, like how are comics treating you? And I know you read so much, so I can't wait to hear what your favorites of this year have been.
Oh man, that's Chakotay, obviously, right? Definitely a highlight. I've read so much this year. I don't even think I would have to really sit down and go through everything.
Well, what pops into your head right away?
Layla Starr.
Okay. Nice. Layla Starr, that's a Rom V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. What if that's the only thing I said? Because you put me on the spot.
That's all you read this year.
That's the only thing I've ever
read. What about you like to talk up Crush and Lobo?
Oh yeah, Crush and Lobo has been phenomenal. I was really worried that it was gonna go super YA or just super childish, but I've really been enjoying it. That's one of the highlights from DC this year for sure.
Yeah, I was really surprised how much I liked it too. I wasn't thinking I was gonna, I put it on my poll thinking maybe, but it's been really good. I have to agree with you. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun read.
Yeah, it was definitely not something that I was expecting. And Batman Reptilian, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but that book has been crying every
month. That Liam Sharp art is to fucking die for. Yeah. Oh God, I love Liam's art.
I'm a big fan of that one. He was complaining on Twitter that people don't like his art, and I was like, what?
Oh, I saw a lot of people say they jumped off of Reptilian because of that. And I'm like, what do you mean? It makes it so much better. The experience is so much richer because of it.
I jumped onto him with that Green Lantern that he did with Grant Morrison. But one of the things about the Batman Reptilian thing that made me love it even more was Liam's message in it when he talked about how this was a book that Garth would have done with Steve Dillon. Oh. That was kind of the plan, and he was friends with Steve Dillon and gave him this kind of tribute and was like, I'll never be able to step into your shoes, blah, blah, blah. But Garth really wanted to tell this story, and he asked me to do it, and I felt honored. And like that whole thing was super sweet. And every interaction I've had with that guy has been just like A+. And so I jumped on, like I said, I jumped on with his Green Lantern stuff, and then fell head over heels for his work, especially how he did with Green Lantern, where he switched season 2, as they were calling it. He switched styles like from each issue, which was super rad. But he's got his own Kickstarter coming out soon, an Arthurian like fucking superhero story that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, he's gonna venture into doing his own thing. It's crazy to think that he's been doing it for this long and he's never attempted it till now.
Kind of sad in a way, but I mean, whatever worked for him. But I mean, I just see doing things the way our buddies on the panel do it, man. Like there's just something about telling your story that like I really appreciate. I think is really cool. And much like Schlepsik, I hate to jock him, but my favorite book of the year is Mart Vallis by EPHK. We're going to actually have him on the show in a couple weeks. He's really excited. We're going to be his first interview, which I can't believe. That dude is so incredible, and nobody's interviewed him before us. Like, the hell is wrong with people? But
that's what you got to do. You got to start somewhere, man. If we can just help him get the word out a bit to get, and the ripple effect, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
And some really cool stuff. I'm on his Patreon, and he's like putting up like his next sketchbook and a couple comics that are coming out soon, and they're just incredible.
Yeah, I'm backing his new art book on Kickstarter, and I'm getting that sticker pack. Oh my god, his stickers are to die for, because like they're actually like 1.5 feet tall, and they're just so detailed. Like those vinyl stickers that he puts out are just glorious.
It's a big sticker.
Yeah, they're huge. They're about as big as the prints that I get from most other.
That sounds super rad. I want a 1.5 feet tall sticker.
I do too.
I mean, I've got one, but I can't figure out anywhere to put it.
It's so big, right?
Skateboard.
I'm just gonna frame them and hang them up like prints. That's what I have planned for them.
No, I've got like 2 bumper sticker size stickers, and you can't put them on anything. Nobody wants them.
I want patches. Like that's the thing that'll always like be a love of mine is patches. Like I stick them all over my jacket, and like I love stickers. I usually slap them on like my base or my skateboard, but patches are a thing that I absolutely love. If you can't tell,
I think Jonathan Hedrick for Quicksand. I got the patches for Quicksand for that Kickstarter.
The David Peepo's book,
Scout's Honor.
Scout's Honor, and those patches that they did for that. I got most of them. I think I'm missing 2, but patches are a thing I love. Like absolutely.
I made a note of it.
I will
Thank you.
Some patches for my next con.
Yeah.
And there he is.
There's Serge. How's it going, Serge?
What's good? Hey, thanks for having me on,
what was the score? What was the score?
It's 0-0 halftime.
Oh, it's not even done yet.
Yeah. Who are they playing?
It's Canada versus Costa Rica.
Oh, dude, y'all are fucked.
No. Canada's got a good team, man. So this is the World Cup qualifiers. We're in the 3rd spot. The top 3 teams qualify to Qatar. So this is huge, man. And it'll be the first time since I think 86 since we've qualified.
Yeah.
So
you're not gonna beat Croatia, dude. I'm sorry.
Costa Rica.
No. If you make it to the games, Croatia's taking you out. I got money on it now.
Okay. I take it. You Croatian background then?
No. I'm super European. I went for Croatia in the 2018 game. Like I didn't miss a single game of the 2018 World Cup. Like I was at work on a construction site, like dipping off to go and watch the games and shit. But Croatia's their drive and the way that they handled the 2018 World Cup was incredible.
It's a good soccer team for sure.
Well, see, because I can't pick my own country unless it's the Women's World Cup, because American soccer, except for Clint Dempsey, who is from like Nacogdoches, which is like 45 minutes from where I'm at, they have a Clint Dempsey like soccer field. But for the most part, like Americans don't do football. Like, I'm a huge Manchester United fan, but I don't ever go for England. And so, I might root for Canada. Maybe.
Hey, man, it'll be huge, man.
That was a hell of a journey you took us on there, too. Honestly.
We're unscripted tonight, Johnny.
I like some of those turns.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron, since you're here and we don't have a script, let's talk about camping. I'm
and watching soccer games while camping. What are the best satellite TVs you could take with you?
Hey, look, I'll tell you this much. I went and saw a Manchester United game in Manchester, and it was Manchester versus Chelsea, and it was like, I come from a place where like high school football is a religion, and like, dude, the intensity of football fans in England. I fucked up and got my ticket near the visitors side.
Did you get to see David Beckham bend it? Did Beckham bend it? Because if not, then you got ripped off.
No,
that's the only reason to go see Man U, in my opinion, if Beckham was going to bend it.
While I was there, I did meet Posh Spice. I did. It was called Sassafras. It was called Sassafras.
What was?
Posh Spice. It's Sassafras.
Okay. But Sergio, 2021 comic.
Didn't get enough laughs. Posh Spice? You're telling me that Sassafras, the most expensive spice, being a Posh Spice does not result in laughter? I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Man, I came on and within 30 seconds, I see half the squad their eyes are just glazing over. It went to soccer. I thought this was a comic book podcast.
Sergio, my eyes are glazed over for a different reason.
Okay.
Mine are because of soccer.
The sausage. Your American beer here.
And the intensity and the Posh Spice of the bending it like Beckham story. Like, I'm like, why are we even talking about this? But let's move on. Comics in 2021.
Put out on my back.
Comics in 2021. Yeah, man. What's going on? What are you guys up to?
Nothing, man. Like, how has your reading been this year, man? And what are your favorites?
Right off the top of my head, I gotta say my favorite is Layla Starr.
This guy. He just listened to what I said.
Yeah,
earlier.
What twins?
Is that what you said, Al?
Just regurgitated.
That's exactly what she said.
Oh my God.
That's all she said. She's like, I read so much, and Layla Starr. Then she went blank.
That's disgusting. I mean, listen, I like my good taste rubbing off on my friends and stuff, but like, Al, you just straight up, yo,
So we'll clarify. We'll just make this clear for everyone. So Serge and Elle are on another podcast called The House of Nerds. So they have this little back and forth where they take shots at each other, which is actually quite entertaining. So
well, I'll be real with you guys. I don't talk to him outside of the show. So the only time I interact with him is on air. So
we never chatted up outside of the show.
Finish him.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, many does a Layla Starr. Carmen is there too. Another favorite. Yeah, I think those ongoing, that Texas Blood is top tier, man. I love that. A lot of good stuff, man. 2021 has been like great.
Too much. Too much.
Yeah. I'm having a tough time keeping up with just my reading list and stuff. And then you got books like I mentioned it on the timeline earlier. Mullet Cop came out of nowhere. That was what an issue. What a first installment, man. Have you guys read that at all?
I haven't gotten to it yet.
Get it, but
yeah. Oh man,
I think you can get it on
Scout's website.
they have it digitally now on their site. Yeah. Okay. Because when I went when it first came out, it wasn't. They didn't have it digitally on their site when it first came out. So
I would recommend a physical for that one though. That's a book you want to own physically. Mullet
It's
Cop.
great. Yeah.
You said I recommend a physical, and I was like, I gotta go to the doctor before I read this book. It's got to be lit.
Maybe you do. You just never know.
Yeah.
Check out that third testicle.
You're at it, yeah. That's definitely something that needs to be checked out.
Mullets are always a big thing, JP. Like they're always,
especially in the South. I see kids running around with mullets all the time. It's gross.
I see them on TikTok all the time. There's like pages dedicated to like women giving other women mullet haircuts, and it's interesting. I'm not gonna do it, but it's interesting.
Dakota won't let me get a mullet. I'm like, baby, let me get a Kentucky waterfall, and she's like, no. And I'm like, what about a Mississippi mud flap? And she's like, no.
She's a keeper.
Looking after your best interest.
She keeps me from making the worst decisions. Always. I love her so much.
Because without her, God, you would make a lot of bad decisions. You could just do a show of the bad decisions Goose would make in his life.
Don't take me to church.
Yeah. Don't take you to church for sure.
Big surprises in comics this year. Did anybody just find something that they thought maybe was innocuous that actually ended up blowing their hair back in comics? Anybody have any kind of experiences like that they'd like to share?
Man, Orphan and the Five Beasts just fucking rocked my world, man. It sucks that I have to wait so long between issues, but issue 2 of Orphan and the Five Beasts, that second issue just blew my mind. That was so good. That's like my comic of this year. Single issue, Orphan and the Five Beasts #2, with Gilbert Godfrey popping out of Thunder Thighs there. It was awesome.
I haven't read that, but I flipped through Stokoe's art in that thing, and it was just it's jerk, so good.
Yeah, and it's just the ridiculousness of it is just fantastic. Like I love it. Like
one of the most entertaining things you'll ever read, man. It just is. It just understands its own absurdity, and
it is. It's wild. It's so wild, and it's fun, and like if you like B-horror movies or anything like that with the little touch of manga, pick this up because it rocks the best of both worlds.
Are you still waiting on
anybody read Carmen?
That finally dropped.
Issue 3 just dropped.
It just dropped, eh?
Yeah, last week I think. Yeah.
I think
we got 3 Canadians on now.
We got 3 Canadians on here. Who's the third one?
Adrian.
Oh, hey, my man.
That's one third. That's 1/3 of the panel. This is getting intercontinental. Who's taking the belt?
Should we have to have?
You gotta love it.
Should we have French subtitles now since we're co-broadcasting?
Fuck it.
Yeah, we're just gonna speak Canadian amongst each other.
Yeah, no one heard one. They won't understand a single word we say.
I've already heard one A.
We're counting A's.
We are counting A's. Serge got the first one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been keeping count, Serge. Okay. You came in and you were like, "Hey, Canada's the A team."
Apparently, I never realized. Yeah, I've been told I say A quite a bit. I mean, yeah.
Sergio is
so Adrian, which part of Canada are you from, bro?
I'm in Edmonton.
Oh, okay. So that the soccer game's being played in your city right now.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Oh, are you?
Actually,
okay.
No, I lied. Actually, I lied. I turned to the Outsiders. I should probably turn back to it.
Oh, okay.
Stay golden, Cody boy.
Yeah, stay gold.
It's halftime. It's halftime. Okay.
Halftime, yeah. Hey, congrats on 25 episodes, guys. That's dope, yo.
Yeah,
man.
good job.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Good job.
Man. I try to tune in as much as I want, but you guys go Friday nights, and then I get all fucking degenerate Friday nights.
Well, that's what our show's about, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. That's
Goose is synonymous with degenerate.
That's awesome, man. I do
just
what
go
you
on
guys are doing, man. You know.
If you want to kick it up, if you not, just go on our Discord, and if you want to see how it degenerates, just go over there. You'll.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it gets wild on the Discord.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to check that out, man.
On a good
Trigger
night,
warning. Joe's pee-pee is there.
We had
Oh.
we had to after one night we had to put in our age. We had to put in our date of birth to actually get into our Discord because
You don't want to know the things that I had to see.
I told you guys we get in trouble for that shit, man. But,
Whatever, Beaker.
I was in Central Market and I was stupid and I was shopping for pumpkins right before Halloween. And I was stupid and checked the Discord, and I looked around at the older women standing around me. I'm like, shit! I'm like, close. Because
hey, I put a warning.
It was like huge,
written in bold.
like huge,
warning. This is a dick pic.
No, I saw Mel post.
No, that was from
It
Goose.
can't be that bad, so I opened it too. Right? Like I'm out in public. I just opened it.
What did I
I
post?
was actually a penis.
I thought it was going to be fake. I didn't think it was real. I thought he's not going to really post that. So I uncovered it, and I'm like,
never call Canadians bluff. That's the moral of this story. Never call Canadians bluff.
Mel, what did I post?
Nobody knows, man. Like, Goose? What did you post?
It's unknown. You know me. I've got the memory of a goldfish.
And to be clear, it was not Joe's. To be clear.
Well, he never said it wasn't.
Oh, it just looked like a Google image, but.
That's disappointing. I was just about to open up Discord. I'm like,
that one is shut down.
Oh no! The actual chat room that took place in got wiped, man. Discord got rid of it.
Oh shit! Banned from TV. Too hot for TV. Okay.
Well, the thing was, it just had some padingers in it, though, man. It wasn't even really that gratuitous. These guys are overselling it. Like, honestly, it was the stuff that you would see from fourth graders.
Man.
Are you saying that I have this?
Wait, what?
My dick looks like a fourth grader's dick? What the fuck?
I'm gonna go.
It was impressive.
All right, everybody, this has gone off the rails.
Yep.
Wow. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but worth it.
That's almost been the name of the show so many times. We were actually in contention for how did we get here? Might actually change from Pink Buzz to that sometime in the future. And you know, Matt, if you want to get wild live, you'd actually have to be here with little scary Blair Witch camera calls that you do nowadays. But back to comic books. Can we talk about comics? Like, we can even talk about ones with padingers in it. Like, Maria Lovett, she's killing this year. They're like actually publishing all kinds of her stuff. And, oh, man, I'm loving it. Like,
did
anybody
you guys
else
read Hollow Heart?
Is that her newest one?
No, it's Paul.
Yeah, I read Hollow Hearts. That was sad.
Like the
first issue.
Oh, interesting.
Man, I was so sad.
Yeah, that was easily one of the most depressing things this year, despite some of the content.
Yeah.
Anybody read Carmen?
Yeah,
Carmen was fantastic.
What a gorgeous book.
Top 5.
Yeah. Oh, the illustrations in it. Oh, yeah. So correct. So that was like translated from it was originally published in Spain, right?
Yeah.
So when did that come out? Like, is this like recent or like this
probably
is piggyback right off? It's like
year or two.
Okay.
It usually takes about that long for them to get translated and published over here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous book. I love his use of Guillaume March's use of like the fisheye lens and a lot of the panels.
Yeah.
And then just the detail, like it feels like you're in Spain, in Barcelona, where the
backgrounds, like his whole city setting. It's just
everything.
Oh. Yeah.
I just tried to do a fisheye drawing that was accurate, like not just a stylized one, like that guy does.
Yeah,
it's impossible. I don't. That's fake.
Let's see what you got there. Put it on Sig, Johnny.
Oh, that's wait.
That's dope.
This is what I've been doing.
That's gorgeous. There you go.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, man. Good stuff.
I've been Googling
funny,
you guys while we're doing this, and you guys are awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
Subs
I'm gonna
again,
be
Adrian.
checking
Really,
out all
really
of
good.
that stuff for real.
It's funny. I'll write something in a script. You know, like I'll have this big idea for a background, and then when I start sketching, I'm like, fuck, nope.
Yeah, one of the things that got me this year was doing a horror comic, and I had to draw like an angry mob going after this lich, and it was just like I took a run at that like 5 times, and the author's like, are you done yet? Like, no, I've done it 8 times, and I can't get it right because it's an angry mob. Why'd you give me an angry mob, Chris?
I did this one street setting where I had my 2 main characters, and then I colored it into whatever. I realized I had nobody else on the streets. I'm like, fucking early morning, right? before it was up, right? Just deal with it. Yeah.
There's no reason that my comic book has a blizzard going on.
Good call.
but it's a
like,
pivotal plot point.
Yeah.
Like you ever started like drawing like all of a sudden you decide, well, I'm going to draw something in rain, right? And then you're like 4 pages of rain. You're like, oh fuck, when does the rain stop, right? You're trying to find the break, in the weather, and you have control of the weather, but you're just looking for a sign to like be able to like have like 1 or 2 random drops, and then sun comes out, and then you're out of that nightmare.
Just like put them under an awning.
Go check out. Is it issue 6 of Sync, Johnny?
Screens and
issue 6 of Sync is awesome.
Every character from here on in is going to carry an umbrella. No, umbrella every time.
So Goose, we haven't gotten to you yet, man. I know you have a positive experience, but 2021 in comics, man. How do they treat you?
Oh man, pretty damn good. I got to read some incredible things this year, like Black Blizzard 1 and 2, and Trakovi 1 and 2. No, this year has been pretty dope in comics. I've actually done a lot of back reading, especially with the Marvel and DC stuff, because I got the apps, and it's nice to go back and read stuff that I won't buy. The comic called Luna, JP is pretty dope.
One of hers. It's one of
Maria Lovett. I like that a lot. The whole that was another good book of 2021. But I got to do a lot of back reading this year, and I had when I was working out of town, I had a lot of free time, so I got to read some of my favorite stuff again. And this year was like, as far as older comics that I got to read was great, but as far as comics that came out this year, I backed a lot of Kickstarters that were super dope. That goes back to Trakovi and Black Blizzard and Why Did the Chicken Cross the Road? But
sorry, I'm getting to it.
No, hey, brother! I got all the time in the world. Knock on wood. I
don't think that third testicle is actually a testicle.
No, it's totally a testicle. Do you guys not have 3 testicles? Am I weird? Fuck y'all.
No, Goose. I think it's everybody else that's weird.
Thank you, Elle. You're a goddamn peach. But no, this this year in comics has been good, especially here recently. There's I think it's got a long title. We were talking about that earlier, but I think it's the issue regarding Oswald's body. I think that dropped this week. Regarding the matter of Oswald's body. That was such a fun read. I read that last night and got a kick out of it. We do a lot of talk about indie comics on our show. In fact, that's kind of our main point. We want to push out stuff that we think is rad. But I also read a lot of Marvel and DC. And there were some real gems from them this year, for sure, as there are every year. This Moon Knight by Jed McKay, who has been absolutely killing it. So Johnny, you were talking about surprise hits earlier. I was surprised with a lot of Marvel and DC. The DC book that got me is Vita Ayala's Static Shock. That is great. They are such a fun creator to read. I've enjoyed most of their stuff, and this is no different.
Good job with the pronoun, man. I would have fucked that up big time.
No, in fact, one of the very first conversations I had with Vita, I said something about their X-Men that they're doing for Age of
Adam?
It was the one that came out with. No. It was the one that came out with Rosenberg's run, and I made the mistake. I said she when I was referencing the book, and they not messaged me, but they commented back and they corrected me, and like ever since then I've made it not a thing, but like I've made it a point to get that right, and so I try and do that. Anyways, not the point. Static Shock was great. One thing that got me from Marvel was Mech Strike from Jed McKay. I know that it sounds dumb. I know it was just a book to sell toys, and that's fine. The book was super dope. Jed McKay has been killing it at Marvel. His Black Cat has been dope. I read, like, my favorite part of the whole King in Black thing. Oh, shit. Look at this motherfucker. It looks like somebody pissed in your cereal. Come on in.
You found a warm place to broadcast from, though, man. You don't look as cold as when you called me earlier. How you doing, brother?
Oh, frozen.
He's frozen.
No, Grizzly Adams is frozen.
He's actually part of the show when he actually shows up, not frozen.
Yep.
But Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Hey, let me ask you guys, how'd you guys come up with the name Pink Buzz? That's interesting.
It's just a name that means nothing and anything at the same time, while at the same time being a tease at one of our buddies from another show who has a penchant for a certain group of people who write books for Vault. And if you can't put it I'll tell you after the show. I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Like, because I've had a couple glasses of wine, so I'm like trying to put it together. Like,
yeah, I know.
Conspiracy board, right? Like, I think I know, but
we have a buddy who really likes the White Noise Boys, and one of our other friends who used to be part of the show, who is not around anymore, was saying like, well, we should call ourselves something silly like Black Silence, and I'm like, well, that's a little too. We'll get in trouble for that one. So I sat and I thought about it, and I was just like, Pink Buzz. You know, it sounds surreal. It can mean anything or nothing. You know what I mean? It's a punk rock name. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just went with Pink.
Yeah.
I thought that was the name of one of those neck massagers that you get there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it is.
You guys should get
I thought that was called.
I have something a little more.
The Homesick Pilot guys on.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Schlepzig, but I think you're using it the wrong way.
Oh no! I know what he's talking about. Like I got the Harriet Carter catalog once, and like they straight up sell those on there. But in the advertisement, the lady legit is rubbing it on her neck, and I'm just like, it's one of the funniest advertisements you'll ever see because you're just like, they are straight up selling a sexual device in this catalog, but they are completely misselling it. Like, you don't rub that on your neck.
When I was a teenager, I used to work at Walgreens, and they used to sell them as personal massagers in the incontinence aisle. Like, I'm like, why is it in the incontinence aisle? But I guess that's where you go if you're trying to get off.
That's
well,
not
you can't
sexy.
keep it in the toy aisle.
Well, actually,
have it next to the Batman.
Hey, Al,
Yeah.
do you know what old people smell like?
Oh, no.
What?
Depends.
Depends.
Wow.
Dad told me that when I was like in 4th grade. That's awesome.
Man.
That joke since '92.
Next
Oh,
one.
my God.
A baby seal walks into a club.
No, we can't keep.
No.
Finish the joke.
Mel's like,
Finish the
no,
joke.
it's done. She kaboshed it. Oh, shit.
But we were talking about comics, and so so
We did interrupt him in the middle of him talking about his lover boy Donny Cates. So yeah, go ahead. The King in Black.
Well, no, I was talking about, okay. No, so I was saying Jed McKay's been killing it at Marvel. The whole King in Black thing was, I'm not going to say it was a disappointment to me, but Jed McKay's Black Cat in the King in Black, like, money sucks. What are they called? Tie-ins.
Yeah.
It was actually the best part of King in Black. And as I was reading that, I was also reading Mech Strike that he was doing. And it led me to a lot of his other Marvel work. And Jed McKay is fucking killing it at Marvel. Like his work there right now is probably my favorite stuff. And then other than that, like Marvel and DC did a lot this year. But as far as indie comics go, that Texas Blood, which I think a couple of us has mentioned, I absolutely love it. Chris Condon is super cool. He's from New Jersey, and me and him have talked a lot, especially after I read the first couple of issues, and I messaged him, and I was telling him, I've got family from New Jersey, but I live in Texas. I was like, and he really does a good job of encapsulating like those small town Texas vibes. Because I've traveled all over the state, and it is a large, weird fucking state. Not as weird as Arizona, but that's not the point. No, that title was really good. I think Chip Zdarsky has been doing some real good shit.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's the book? No, well, Newburn was fucking dope. But what was the other one he had from Image?
Stillwater.
Stillwater was dude, it's so good. I really enjoyed that. I mean, as far as I read a whole lot this year. But off the top of my head, a lot of the dope stuff that I read really did come from Kickstarter. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with creative control, where you have companies that have I wouldn't say like the editors change stuff, but I think that there's like a certain point where the creative control gets pulled back a little bit. And so with the Kickstarters that I've read, especially from like, I think what we'll call them cartoonists, like Reese and Age, like people that draw and write their own stuff. Like I feel like it's a more original story, and so a lot of the stuff that I've gotten through Kickstarter this year has been really dope. Like I really like the stuff. Like I know people may have had issues with the magnetic press stuff, but Monolith made me feel so many fucking things. Like that was part of
so good.
Oh,
so
dude, it's so good. But like, I had my kid. My Orion is 17 months old, coming up, and like that book made me feel so many things. I think I droned on about it. Like that was our 3-hour episode, and I think I droned on about Monolith for maybe 20 minutes. That book made me feel so many fucking things. I was angry. Well, that's the same thing with Casual Fling from AWA. Another, like, I love the AWA books, but Casual Fling made me so mad. But like, not because the book was bad, but because the book was so good. I hated the main character so much. Like, I think we may end up talking about that with one of our friends soon. But Casual Fling was one of those books that, like, oh, dude,
that book brought up a discourse on Twitter that I had to step away from because a lot of men on Twitter I felt were out of pocket with some of their stances. Like,
well, no, it was okay.
No, not you. Not you. I'm just saying, like a lot of men were on the timeline with some out of pocket, responses to that story, and I'm like, let's not start about men now. Like, let's not.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, I was mad at the main character because, like, I've been in, and I'm not going into like a whole bunch of stuff, but I've been in the situation of her old man, and like his response and the way that he reacted was written great.
Yeah.
But I hated her so much for stepping outside of the relationship. But it wasn't so much that like I would talk shit about the series. No, the book was so good. It was so good that it made me hate the main character, as you should, because her husband went out of the what?
I gotta go read it.
Oh
now.
No. You gotta go read it, dude.
I have the floppies. I just haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna have to go pull them out of my.
It's a very human approach to the topic. That's why I enjoyed it. Like, everybody is flawed, and they really touched on that really well.
And that's the thing. Like, that book specifically drew on my heartstrings because I've been in the situation of the husband, and so like I felt a lot for him. And while he was cautious, he still did whatever he could because he loved her. And like, I don't know if I would have reacted the same way in his circumstances. And so, like I said, it was written so good because books that make me feel things always rate higher up, because a lot of books are entertaining, but books that reach down and like grab you, like that's a whole different like level.
Yeah, but it's just like when actors do such a good job that you hate them, right? You see them and like they play the villain so well, you just hate that person after, even though you know it's a character. You can't help but hate them. And when the book does that with the main character, it's amazing. Like in Monolith, like Goose and I were both we had a lot to say about the main character of Monolith.
Now oppose her versus the protagonist in Casual Fling. The Casual Fling girl looks way better than the one in Monolith. Like, come on, you have to at least say that. At least give them that.
Because Monolith,
dude, Izzy from Coffin Bound was a more positive character than the mom in Monolith. Like, she was probably the most toxic, negative character in the graphic novel.
I hated her so much.
But I needed to know what happened every page. I'm like, okay, things are gonna change.
Yeah. No. If you haven't,
I hated the mom in Monolith so goddamn much. Like, and like, I love women. Those two women were terrible. Those two women were terrible. Like, that's why I hate. Like, I loved Casual Fling. I loved Monolith. I hated the protagonist in both stories.
But that's the point of it, though. You're supposed to.
Yeah,
so it's not.
I think that's the crux of the narrative. Is just supposed to conflict you. I think with that type of characterization, right? Yeah. I mean, those old '70s movies about like the cheating girlfriends and stuff like that. If you guys ever watched any of those, like the old indie films from the '70s.
Oh, I love me some exploitation films.
No, not specifically those. Like the ones that you would see.
Okay,
With,
we'll save that.
I think there is a part of characterization where whenever the closer you get to realism, you're starting to move away from how evil or toxic a person can be. The more you're going to hate that person anyway, because they get more and more real.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I see that.
People are uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can identify with it more.
And it's good that they're putting stuff like that into comic books because it is such an important medium. I mean, in my opinion, it is a bit more expressive than film, especially when it's done right. So I think that now that people are putting these more mature and more thoughtful themes into the books, it's just making the reading experience so much better. That's why, like, I do believe that we are in a veritable, like, third golden age of comics right now. It's probably like a better golden age than the second one was. And I'm probably the only person on the panel that considers the early 90s the golden age of comics. But screw the haters, man. Matt Wagner, Phil Hester, David Mack, the names that came out of the early 90s. Oh, my God, dude. Like, I can't see how you couldn't call that a golden age.
Well, I mean, I think for me, it is a golden age just because that's the time I grew up on comics, right? You know, I grew up on that early 90s. So for me, it's a nostalgia factor for sure, you know, right? Like when I look back at films of, like, you know, the 80s, I mean, I'm an 80s baby. So, you know, I kind of gravitate toward that kind of stuff. So I can see how you're saying like the 90s, even though a lot of people kind of criticize that. I think
I'm talking about a specific part of it too. I'm talking about like the Comico Caliber Comics era, you know, the Barbed Wire Halo guys and, you know, James O'Barr. Like, it got cheesy and it got really bad when Image did kind of launch, you know what I mean? They did do a lot of good eventually, but there was a lot of commercialization and really bad stuff that came out in the name of indie towards the tail end of that. But the really early part of that movement, the black and white new school, old school, new wave, chef kisses to the moon, man. Like, I don't care what anybody tries to tell me. Grindel and The Crow, and there ain't no putting some of those books down.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff that came out of that time. I mean, that was when I was checking out of comics, but it was really formative to you know, my love of them. Just when the shackles came off of the printing industry, giving people the chance to, like, get, you know, do stuff really on their own. Well, it really created, like, just an explosion of creativity. That was with like the Xerox machines. Like, you could go to Kinko's and make your comic. Whereas, you know, in the previous time, like, the indie comics were really, like, in that zine format, like the Freak Brothers stuff in the 70s and things that, you know, were, you know, really poorly reproduced, and it was really hard to get small print runs done, or you had to bankroll a whole lot of money to do it. So, like, that early, like, Crumb stuff and things like that was out there. It was really hard to get out there. And so when the photocopier technology came around, that's when things went crazy. I mean, anyone could make a comic. Anyone can make their own zine then, and you'll bring it out. And so people were just going crazy.
Yeah, like, it's funny you mentioned the Freak Brothers, because that was just solicited in the Diamond previews this month. Fantagraphics is putting a collected edition out.
Yeah.
For that, so it's, you know, yeah.
Well, those are like, you know, classics now. But I mean, if you think how much you know, similar content never saw the light of day. You know, that was, you know, scrawled in people's notebooks or, you know, doodled on, you know, whatever stoner paper they had, that, you know, they couldn't bankroll it, they couldn't find a backer, they couldn't get it printed, they didn't have access to the right thing to duplicate it, you know, previous to having something like a Kinko's where you go and like get nickel copies of things.
And today you have Kickstarter, which is amazing because it's like without Kickstarter, I wouldn't have read any of your books. Like on the panel today, like you know, if it was back, like it's such a great way for creators to reach out to the public and get their stuff out, and you know, and there's a lot. Like every one of your books was great. Like. And I don't know if it weren't for Kickstarter, would I have ever gotten to read any of that? You know, like.
Well, not for Kickstarter. I mean, social media.
Yeah.
You know, the web. We've got podcasts like yours. You know, out spreading the word about indie stuff. You know, because
I mean,
there's so much indie stuff. No one can cover it all.
Yeah,
that's true.
And another aspect is people shit on digital a lot, but without digital, like. How much easier is it to get comics into people's hands now with digital? It's just an email and boom, it's there. You have it. You don't have to wait for shipping. It won't get lost in the mail. Like that is, I think, something a lot of people shit on, but I think digital is helping the medium a lot more than people give it credit for.
Well, that
it's massive.
A lot of creators are using it to mostly create with as well, right? I mean, even you guys that do hand pencil work, when it all comes down to it, it's rendered through your computers digitally, a lot of it, right?
Yes.
You know what's crazy is comics is the only media that digital has not really taken off. You look at film, you look at
newspapers,
anything really. You know, any medium. Comics, the percentage of digital sales is like a fraction what it is in other industries, right? Which is crazy. And I'll be honest, I was very slow to kind of to get into digital comics and stuff, but you know, more so because starting the show and getting, you know, the advanced readers and just like you're saying, bro, like, you know, just the ease of access and stuff. I gotta be honest, I'm warming up to you know, digital comic books, and you know, it's not taken up. I don't need, you know, like 15 long boxes in my house, and you know, it's just you got it on your computer, you boom, you know, check it out, and you know,
Serge, I think the reason that there's such a small percentage is because there's ease of access. However, I wasn't the biggest fan of digital comics when I was trying to read them on my phone. But when I got I know that sounds terrible. I know it's awful. Like I've never been in areas with much internet access. I don't have need for a computer, and so I always just use my phone. Well, I bought a tablet, and like going from that to a tablet. Oh, dude. So Nacogdoches is like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, which means you're like an hour away from absolutely nothing.
Oh no! Okay, so no. Hear me out. So I grew up. I was born in the middle of nowhere, but I have this theory, and I'd like y'all to hear it. I don't think I've ever explained this theory live. I don't know if you guys know this about the states, but every state has their part, and Louisiana is definitely the United States butthole. And you know,
well,
we can
back
live
to
with
kind
that.
of what we were talking about with the digital comics.
Go ahead.
Lynn Wolf says the price of digital comics hurts it from being a bigger avenue. I hate to be this guy, but I don't think I've bought a digital comic, to tell you the truth. Like, I get given them, or I get them through Kickstarters, which I guess I pay for. But are they expensive? I mean, I never hear people complain about the price of them. The people I do
actually,
them.
If you're patient, you can get them for a lot cheaper. Like Comixology has sales all the time. You have companies like Panel Syndicate that set up a pay what you want. So, I mean, for people that are on a budget.
Yeah, Hoopla, the library.
Hoopla, it's a library. Yeah, it's the library app where you can just take books out digitally from the library. I mean, anyone on a budget, like this is what I like about digital. It makes it so much more accessible to people that are on a budget. There's so many ways you can read comics digitally without pirating. You know, without pirating, I'm talking about like you can I don't understand when people say, oh, I can't afford, like, unless you're into collecting and you absolutely want those physical copies, then I can understand. Yes, it can become an expensive hobby. Otherwise, because of the digital medium, it's super affordable for anyone to start reading comics and getting into it. Like,
as a creator too, especially as a new creator, you know, when you're putting out like a new story, digital is so huge. It's you know, because I like before, because I'd like wait for the physical copies to come in, but in the meantime, you know, I got these digital copies that I sent messages to so many people that it's like, you know, you just start getting annoyed of your own voice. But even like, it's great. Like, even like with, you know, opening up the shop, right? Even before I get the physical copies, you know, like a guy from the UK orders up a digital copy. Boom, I send it in like 2 minutes. So now I got someone, you know, in England reading my book, right? And no, it's just it's you know, and I grew up like junior high in the 70s, or in the 70s, geez, in the 80s. and you know, and oh man. Anyway, so, and I remember, like, I grew up with this. We had this one zine here. It was a music zine called Slur, and it was just, you know, just this crude photocopy, whatever, and like that. I still think about it to this day, right? Like, this thing, you know, it always made me want to do my own book, right? And you know, but the problem is, like, you know, you can only get it to so many people. You know, and it just basically died on the vine, right? But I love nowadays, it's like, you know, you can really, the main goal is to get people to read your book, right? And however they do it, I don't care. You know, if you don't buy a copy, whatever. You know, if you buy digital and then pass it on to 20 people, whatever. It is what it is, right? So you just want to get eyes on it, you know?
Well, I think it's no different than, you know, buying a physical book and you're sharing it with your friends, right? I mean, I don't know how you feel about that as a creator, right? You know,
I'm fine with it.
Well, to tell you the truth, I've only read Jacoby on my phone because you sent us those digital flip books for the preview copies, and
the flip books are horrible. Yeah.
No, but they read so well off the phone. Like, I actually don't know how I'm going to feel about my physical copies when they come, because I think Jacoby might just be a phone comic from now on because it read so well off of it. I'll tell you the truth.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so anxious to find out what these books are going to look like when they show up next week. You know, because I went with the uncoated interior, right? Because I wanted that 80s feel to it, right? The early 90s feel to the inside. Yeah. I don't know why. It's like every night, middle of the night, I wake up and like, fuck, it's all gonna be faded. It's just gonna be a faded page, you know, or something, right? So, you know, it's just, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah.
So few people are gonna notice those print problems. Because I mean, every time I flip right to the spot that I know is gonna be a problem, like, oh, it looks terrible.
I know, everyone's like, what? You know, I got a few things like continuity issues, just minor things, right? Where I got to the point where at the end I'm like, I was going to go back and do it. I'm like, fuck it. Someone's going to find this out. It'll be like a whole Easter egg thing, and just deal with it, right? And I, you know, and it's funny. It's like when you start, you know, a book for the first time, and by the time you get into the end of like the next issue, whatever, there's like this progression where you're much better now than you were then, and then you think about going back and changing things. And I don't know. I think one creator just said, just go with it. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, I had a panel I wanted to redraw because I remembered it. Like, I don't know, an issue later where I'm like, oh man, her lapel's faced the wrong way.
Yeah.
No one cares.
But it haunts you. It haunts you.
I still
right?
think about
it. You're sitting there eating your soup. You're like, fuck. You know, you just want to like, yeah. I know. Like, I would just like be where like, I would be sitting there. I'm like, did I scale something properly? You know what I mean? Are the hands too small in this one panel? Right? You know, just in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of work. You know, you're just like all of a sudden this panic. You got this like cold sweat. You're like, fuck, and then you're like, you can't do anything until you get home, right? By the time you get home, you're starting up your laptop or whatever, and you're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. And not to put pressure on you, but your use of gutters, I'm so curious to see it on paper. because I loved that about Trakovi. So I'm really excited to see it, on paper. So no pressure, but
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because like
I'm excited about it.
I have other artist friends who are like, when they always talk about certain illustrations, like, oh, look how clean the lines are. Oh, this it's such a clean page. Clean is like this like porn word for them. Oh, it's so clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my line work's I'm not very clean. My coloring's very crude. My line work's very crude. So I use all this like blotchiness and shit to kind of cover things up, right? Sort of like make it look like it's all supposed to be shitty.
Well,
right?
I mean,
Is that what you're doing? Looks really good.
It's just punk rock, if you ask me, man. Your book looks punk.
Oh, it's so cool looking.
Don't tell.
No, I get so intimidated.
Yeah, right?
Oh my god.
Listen to Sam. Sam's telling you the secret right now. Don't tell anyone. Everybody just
telling you,
look
like, I
at
don't
it
know
and
how
like,
That's
how many times like new Kickstarter comes out though, right? Like like a new campaign, right after yours comes out, and you're like, fuck, that's so nice, right? Of course I got like 10 people working on this one Kickstarter, right? And you just want to delete your campaign, right? Because this is like, you feel like a fake, right? But man, there's just
I have advice that I give to young artists. Now you're like my vintage as well, so but the advice I give is you can't judge your own work at all because you're a terrible judge. And the reason is that when we do something, you've got like this vision in your head what it should be, right? And when it gets on the page, that's not what it is, and you're like so disappointed because you've got this ideal in your head that it could have been, and it's like, why isn't it that good?
Yeah, and you're sitting there like, well, Alex Ross is killing it. Why the fuck can't you, right?
The thing is, now here's the secret: nobody else knows what it could have been. They only see it for what it is, and that's why artists are a terrible judge of what they did. Because they're always going to compare it to this ideal vision that they had in their head, and other people are going to look at it and they're so clueless about it, they don't know. They're going to think it's good.
That's what I like to hear.
So
in school, like when you're drawing and stuff in school, and you go and see your mate's stuff, and you're like, "Fuck, that's so good," and you're like, "I wish I could be that good." And then they look at yours and they're saying the same thing about your work, and you're like, "The fuck, are you fucking crazy?" And then
don't you hate that?
It's just everybody loving
look at
each other's
someone's work.
Yeah, because you're too close to it. Like you said, like you have expectations in your head, and it's so hard to meet them.
You're comparing it to an ideal that is completely unrealistic and maybe actually impossible. I mean, it's like recalling a dream. You're never going to get it just right because it's in this ether, and no one can live up to that. So you gotta listen to other people looking at your stuff, because I mean, I'll look at it and I'll say, that elbow's wrong, and people are like, no, that's awesome. It's like, that elbow is wrong. And I've started like looking at like other artists that I really love, and I look at like this work, it's like, that's really beautiful, and that elbow is really wrong. I'm
gonna check all my pals for elbows now.
No one's gonna notice. And
it's like you just caught me right after do someone stabbing somebody. I'm like, fucking elbow, over and over. Had to draw it like 10 times.
It can be so hard. And then, I mean, no one cares. They're just looking at the boobs anyhow. So, which is the other secret to my success.
Well, none of you guys here tonight have to worry about your artistic talents at all. Like, I don't think that you'd be on the show otherwise. I mean, I like to think of myself as kind of being a snob. So, and each one of you have a very impressive, very unique, unmatched visual style that I think is a really important thing to have as a person who does your own thing completely as a creator. So, yeah, I don't think that you have to worry. I mean, I don't see any shortcomings. But then again, my friend Manny, who was on the show earlier, always tries to point out to me that Mike Mignola can't draw shoulders, which I guess is true, but I'm not going to ever believe it.
But he used to. That's the thing. That's something he developed later on, because he used to draw shoulders.
Yeah.
That's just something he put into his style as he progressed.
Yeah,
because look at his earlier work. He has all his characters have shoulders.
I mean, like, have you looked at like the Rocket Raccoon miniseries from the '80s? That was one of his first things he did.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
I mean, and that's gorgeous, and but the pencil. I mean, he was clearly like imitating like Frazetta in those early years. Frazetta or Mike Kaluta, or those guys. It was very classic art, but he evolved into this like really simplistic, blocky style, which is mind-blowingly complicated to try and like figure out why it works. And again, the anatomy is all wrong, but it doesn't matter because the page flow is right. And that's that's kind of like the really important thing is don't sweat these little details. Just make it look nice and have some faith that it looks good.
Yeah, I'm like obsessed with your not safe for work Instagram page. The drawings on there, obsessed. They're so good, and it's
thank you.
And it's like it's really a testament. Like like he said earlier, like all of you guys have such unique styles that like you guys sweating little details. It's like I don't see that as a consumer. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I could tell it's you. I could tell who is the artist, and I think that's what's cool to me is that it's recognizable.
Well, as a salesperson to a consumer, yeah, of course it's perfect.
It's funny though, because and like all of us indie creators can attest to this. Is like when you're trying to sell your stuff at cons, that's always a challenge.
I can't wait! I can't wait.
I mean, I was at New York Comic Con, and
cool.
There's that look. They walk by. They walk by and they look at your booth, and they look up, and look down, and it's like I do not see any MCU here. And I don't see my favorite anime here, so I hope you didn't see me. And I usually like trying to just get away, and so the thing is like when I'm at cons is like I gotta go into like full like carnival like Carney Barker mode. Step right up to Schleppzig's magical cure for cancer. One nickel.
It's quite the deal. It's been ever since I've been to one. Last time I actually went to a Comic-Con, Vertigo was still in full swing, and that's pretty much a majority of what I read. And when I would go to booths, I'd be like, hey, you got any Vertigo? And the guy would legit look at me and go like, no, I don't sell indie. And I'd be like, it's DC Wonder Boy. Like, yeah, we don't sell it though. And I'm just like...
But Sam, I got to say, you're doing a good job because I have a mutual on Twitter who met you at the New York Comic Con, and now he's a fan for life. Norton St. Clair. He's probably watching the show tonight. He said he was going to watch the show tonight. I told him you were on. And man,
he's a
he
real cool guy.
yeah, and he loves your stuff, man. He's like,
awesome.
and you saw him. He looked over, and you called him over, and he never heard of you, and now, boom, he's a huge fan.
My thing, I'm always like dragging people in, and I've only gotten a few like cease and desist orders and police calls. Because I mean, like you're an indie guy, and they show up, and they're all the kids in the anime stuff, and they're just looking for anime stuff. I mean, there they are in their Demon Slayer cosplay with the creases still in the little thing from getting it out of the bag, right? And that's all that's on their mind. Like, I had 2 doors down, New York Comic Con, there was a lady that did these beautiful paintings of like Avatar, the last Airbender characters, and hey there, and she was just making money hand over fist. I mean, she was just printing money there. It was I mean, she did very well, but it's like recognizable. She was mobbed the whole time. Everyone knows.
Adrian knows your pain. He told us a story about one of his conventions when he was on the show.
Can I? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, oh well, I was just gonna say, like, even like across the way, like down the corner, like Jim Mahfood's down there, like 4 or 5 doors down, and he's got tons of downtime. And this is
criminal. It's criminal. Yeah.
He's like the man, and just I walk up and talk to him. There's like 1 or 2 people at his booth once in a while. Whereas you got Avatar stuff, you can't sit down. Right? So Adrian, you were talking.
Yeah. Okay. So this completely ties into what you're talking about. So I was 2 years ago. I was at Edmonton Expo, which is like our Comic Con, and so I had like prints, all that, all superhero themed and all that. I thought I'm gonna like absolutely destroy these 3 days. So I set up, I got this booth, big whatever, lots of colors and all that, and, prints. It's bright, it's colorful. I'm impressed with myself, So the guy across from me shows up, older guy. He has like these little handmade mugs with like Harry Potter on it and Doctor Who and just stuff that I just don't care about, right? And I'm sitting up thinking to myself, bro, you're gonna have like the shittiest weekend, whatever, right? So anyway, so we get into like day 1, and this guy is just line up, like he's just fucking just fistful of cash. Like people are lining up, and he's bringing people in. And I got nothing. Nothing's happening for me. So around the corner, there's this one guy who took photographs of like just like toys, put a bit of a Photoshop filter on it. He said he printed it off at Staples for like 10 cents each. He's selling them for $20 each. So he's having an absolute killing of a weekend. The girl next to him, she's all like anime, and she paid her mortgage off in like probably like half a day. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm kind of standing around with a bunch of other artists, and like, how's your weekend going? How's your fucking brutal? Everyone's like brutal this, brutal that, and I'm like, go look at my neighbor. So the neighbor, the mug guy. So he's got a little lineup, right? Like he's
Jim, fucking Jim,
selling ass shots, right? So meanwhile, so we're all dying on the vine here. Who's around the corner but Mike Zeck? And Mike Zeck must be selling casseroles, right? Because like no one is like they shoved him in the corner. What? It was the saddest thing. He was just shoved in a corner, and I think there was like someone selling dog food or something not too far from there, and it was just like and then he was kind of like right next to like this whole row of like indie comic publishers, and it looked like a kennel, right? You know what I mean? They're all sitting there with their big eyes, just like hoping someone would, So I would go get a drink or something, right? I would just put my head down, go right past them because I couldn't make eye contact. It was just so depressing. And I wanted to make sure they saw my badge to make me know I was like one of them, and I was having a shitty weekend too, So, but by having nothing to do, that's when I started the comic, right? So I just started the story for the comic because it was just the shittiest fucking weekend ever. And anyway, 2 years later, I'm going to be doing this all over again. What a horrible.
You're gonna bring some anime prints though with you, aren't you? You're gonna be drawing some One Punch Man. You're gonna be drawing some Demon Slayer.
Hey, that's how I broke even at Planet Comic Con. Because I would just draw in my sketchbook to fill time, and people would come up to me.
Yeah.
Can you draw this anime character? Can you draw this anime character? Those were my commissions.
Yeah.
I got commissions. I got commissions out of it.
Yeah.
But they were like commissions for like months down the road, right? Yeah.
Who gets the weird like requests at cons? I get like the weirdest things to draw.
Oh, speaking of Norton, speaking of Dean, pretty sure he asked you for something weird at Comic-Con. That's what
was it?
I think it was something about pee.
Dean in a bucket of piss.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he asked me to like do a remark with like a bucket of piss or something in there. It's like he was lit.
He's a fan for life now, man.
Yeah, no, he was a good guy, and I let him down, and so I had to do right by him. No, he asked for a commission at the end of the con, and or at the end of his leaving, and I misunderstood him, so I didn't have it ready when he was leaving. Because I thought he was going to come back, and then I was going to do it like they're like while they came back, and then it's like, no, we got to go. And so I did something for him. I just sent it to him as like, sorry, I didn't mean to like let you down. He looked so disappointed.
Oh, shit.
And so I just drew something and sent it to him because I felt so bad. I just misunderstood him. But he was hilarious.
Yeah, Dean is hilarious.
He's a character
Really
for sure.
He was great. He was clearly like altered that day. But yeah, he was one of those people that I just browbeat into coming in, and it's like, no, come look, you've got to see this. Because you've got to, once you get them into your story, they're ready to be a part of it.
Yeah.
People kind of need permission to like something that's not the same as everything else.
I gotta be an easy mark because all it took was look at your drawing of the Volkswagen and the cat on Kickstarter, and I'm like, ooh, what's this? Oh, it's $8. I'm getting it. I like this guy's art.
I've had people come up to me and say I should just draw Volkswagens.
Huh.
Hey, that bug.
It's a good-looking Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volkswagens are tough. I drew another Volkswagen recently in something. It's up on my Instagram.
My first issue has a flaming Volkswagen in it.
Cool.
So I know how to draw one now.
But they're tough. Because nothing lines up on the perspective lines. Because all those curves, and you have to distort the curve to kind of sort of match perspective. So
put some splatter on it. Hide it. We'll be fine.
But it's one of those things that like if you kind of get it close, it looks really good. And that was I've got a crashed muscle car in one of the strips that I'm doing right now. That's the next Red story. I've got a muscle car accident and got to draw a lot of muscle cars. They're a lot of fun.
Just real quick about your Red. I was looking at the first page of it because I was looking up your stuff as we went.
Oh yeah,
that first page with the white silhouette in front of that background is amazing. It looks great.
I mean, part of that is just 24-hour comic day because
done that.
Red was my 24-hour comic.
Wow.
Which I didn't do in 24 hours. Like the last page.
Thank God.
I've got the whole like disclaimer that I did most of it in about 30 hours because at like hour 20-ish, I was churning away. I was like crazy out of my mind. And my daughter came down Sunday morning for breakfast. And, she's like, Dad, you got to, get me food and, turn on the cartoons and, that sort of thing. And, you want your children to eat and that sort of,
I've heard.
Semi-responsive. So I came down and kind of just broke my momentum, right? I mean, you're churning away at something for 24 hours and anything that breaks your concentration, it's like you're out. So I took a little power nap. I came back and it was probably 30 hours all told to like get the first draft done. And wow. It was my trainer Kickstarter. So I set it up as, a really low threshold to just kind of do a Kickstarter to figure out how it works. Like how you get people, how you set up the banks, how you do all that business stuff in the background, all the registration you have to do with Kickstarter and things like that, just, to do it. And it's like, okay, if it gets funded, great. If it doesn't, who cares? And it got funded, and then it like went like way past its funding, where I said like I would do a bigger format. I'd do an 8x10 instead of an ash can, because I was, completely like out of my mind when I came up with that plan. Because I know math. I have an engineering degree, and I should have known that the aspect ratio for an ash can and aspect ratio for an 8x10 page are completely different. It's twice the size, but you can't just scale it up by 2. And so after that, I had to like rejigger a bunch of pages to fit the 8x10 size. And that gave me an opportunity to fix a few things and tidy up some dialogue that was clearly written by a crackhead in the middle of the night. And something, but I mean, the kernel of the story and most of the art was drawn in that 24 hours, and all the digital jiggering probably took another 40 hours.
Man,
wow.
Yeah.
These guys are ready to go kill themselves now.
I was just thinking, I was like, I think I'm on day 22 of my comic.
I like you had said you're on Cartoonist Kayfabe briefly for one of their mailbag. I don't know if you're part of the Facebook group.
I just joined it.
The Ringside Seats. It's a fantastic group. It's got some growing pains right now because it's getting popular, but it's a fantastic group. A lot of creators there, really supportive community, and a lot of great work, a lot of great projects in there. And one of the things we do every month is we've got like a draw session first Saturday of the month, the Ringside Anthology. And one of the things I got a rep for is like when I'd show up, we draw for like 4 hours and I'd crank out like 4 to 6 pages in that time. And part of it is just fuck it, I'll go for it, and who cares if that elbow was wrong?
Man, that's some confidence. That was moving with purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. I got about half a strip done while we're talking. So we got like this guy here, and I redrew this. I've got a little street angel here killing the guy, and the fisheye streetscape.
That's cool.
There
That's
we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the ending credit here, a little street angel skateboarding away.
Doing some Jim Rugg this month for the strip?
No, it was just today. I was doing like a 3-hour strip. And, so I did like the first half in a couple hours this afternoon while I was doing some pages for another thing. The script I was talking about that I had to translate from the Canadian. Because it is a script for a guy, Tex Watt, who does a bunch of stuff, but the script was like a collage that he sent to us with like cutting like stuff paste. It was like photocopies of stuff like Post-it notes and all over. And so it's coming out from 100% Comics, which is William Hofknecht's jam. And Dr. Ben is going to be doing the inking on that. But Ben and William and I, we got the script and we're like, what the fuck is going on in this? Trying to figure it out. And so the first thing I did was I like translated all these little Post-it notes and collage pictures into a story that is pretty much the story that, Tex intended. That's a good story. It's a lot of fun to draw. And we're getting there. But, I told William I want to have a credit for translating it from Canadian.
For translating it from Canadian. What would that look like? I'm curious.
I don't know. You Canadians are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, eh?
I'll take it.
Reason why they give us a nickname, Crazy Canucks, right? So.
Crazy Canucks.
Never heard of
Where
that
did
before.
Canuck come from?
It's a type of fish, right?
Man,
not all the
Not a
Canadians
clue.
not responding.
No,
I think my wife's calling me for something.
I'm looking this up right now.
Yeah.
Google that. Yeah.
We're horrible Canadians.
I've got a huge stack of Captain Canuck comics that I love. But I was always kind of wondering, like, where did Canuck come from?
That's a good
The
question.
Vancouver Canucks have a killer whale, so I don't know if that's part of the species of killer whales.
Oh, here we go. The term Canuck is first recorded in 1835 as an Americanism, originally referring to Dutch Canadians, which included German Canadians or French Canadians.
Of course, it's our fault.
Right.
Only the bloody Dutch.
Man, that's kind of disappointing hearing that it came from an American slur. Really, man. I don't know how I feel about that now. You know, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. I gotta be honest.
Well, now if anyone says Canuck, you can like that's hate speech there, man.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Man.
Yeah. You can't say that. Only Canadians can call each other Canucks.
Yeah, dude, that's how it's got to be from now on.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. But I love my Captain Canuck comics.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
Captain Canuck. I was actually got the omnibus of that. I was gonna send it up to Joey because he told me he's never read it. So I was like, oh
No.
man,
Wow,
that's
not a
Joe,
real
you've
connection.
never read any Captain Canuck comics? Bro?
I might have read like an issue here or there, like, but
I've never even
really.
No. I treated Canadian comics like Canadian television. You know how you just sort of
Oh, buddy, that was
yeah,
What's wrong with the CBC and CTV productions?
yeah
Come
skim
on,
over
man.
that. No,
Hey.
Oh, that's one thing though. I watched a lot of Canadian television though.
Yeah. Hey,
When-
listen,
when
I
I was
work
a
in the
kid, I
Canadian film and television industry, so hey, man, we got some top tier content.
I mean,
out there, man.
no. You know what? No, I was a big SCTV fan growing up. So
Yeah, for sure.
like SCTV used to be on like 11 o'clock, ITV. Well, here in Edmonton, right? So we'd always like stay up every night, 11 o'clock. You know,
Yeah.
King of
SCTV
Kensington.
classics, man. The greats came out of there, right? Candy, Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara,
Levy,
Andrew Martin,
man, Moranis,
Martin Short,
You know,
yeah,
Candy, of
Yeah.
course, the GOAT. One
Joe
of the
Flaherty.
all-time,
Oh my God. What's his face?
Flaherty's underrated, I feel like, eh?
Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis came out of there
So you
too.
want to translate for us, Americans?
They're talking about comedians. They got famous from
Canadian
being on.
comedians, man. Candy the GOAT, one of the all-time greats, man.
Canadian comedians. Yeah, John Candy was the greatest. Johnny
I love
LaRue.
him, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny LaRue was fantastic. He had the robe with the JLR on it, right? Oh, there was one episode of Johnny LaRue's workout. So he's wearing his like silk robe. He's got a cigarette, and he's just kind of like he's on like an elliptical or whatever. He's got a cocktail in one hand, right?
It's great if for any of the Americans
It's
watching.
basically like,
if
whew.
you guys haven't seen any SCTV like from the 80s, late 70s, check it out, man. It's like comedy
I grew up
gold,
on that stuff.
in all honesty.
Oh yeah.
It's Saturday Night Live, but funny.
Yeah.
No, I used to watch like Red Green.
Oh yeah, Red Green.
I love Red Green.
Mm-hmm.
My wife
Four on the floor.
Red.
Back in the
Never
day.
liked Red Green.
I like Red Green. There was another show we watched that was really good. That was out of Canada. That was it was about this like small town Shakespearean theater.
Kids in the Hall.
Oh, Slings and Arrows.
Slings and Arrows. That one was really good.
Yeah, Mark McKinney was in that. Yeah, I'll watch anything with that crazy bastard in it.
That was a really funny show.
I actually generally like Canadian TV when I've seen it. I mean, you guys have Letterkenny, which I'm jealous of anyway.
Yeah, Letterkenny's probably the
Letterkenny's
funniest
good.
thing that's
Yeah.
ever been on television. Like I squeak like a dolphin when I watch that show. Like,
Yeah, yes. It's one of the only shows I've had to like watch back to back because like I laughed so hard through all like 6 jokes because they told one that was so funny. I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I miss?
Allegedly.
Yeah, man, like I can always identify Canadian shows too by their look. Like I like was it Flashpoint and Travelers is a Canadian show. Like there's a whole bunch of them that.
Oh, Flashpoint. My wife all of a sudden started watching Flashpoint, like out of nowhere. I'm like, why the fuck are you watching Flashpoint? Right? So,
It's a good show.
Flashpoint.
Let's see, I
Hugh
was
Dillon.
thinking
Hugh Dillon
more
from the
like,
Headstones.
Yes.
You guys' teen shows was like my jam, like Degrassi, Higher Point.
Oh yeah, Degrassi.
Stuff like that. With
Oh, Degrassi. Yeah.
But hold on, the original Degrassi or the remake?
Original and Next Generation, not the latest one.
Oh, the original is so like, oh man.
Yeah, I
you remember all the way to Stephanie
and
K?
Higher Ground. I was like, oh my god, should I start doing drugs so that I can go to rehab at a camp too? Because I like romanticized
wrong lesson
because Hayden Christensen, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to start like, smoking grass or whatever they're doing.
You know, it's funny. I was in Chicago a few years ago, and so my American friends were talking about Canadian culture and all that, and I mentioned to him The Littlest Hobo, and I was trying to explain the show to him. I said, okay, you know what? When you go home, just look up The Littlest Hobo, right? So anyway, so the next day we met for drinks, and we were sitting around this bar in Chicago. He's like, so I looked up The Littlest Hobo. So the dog is a detective, right? He goes, because it's talking about the bush. He's got like a rifle in his mouth, right? And he looks like he's like fighting crime, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you're like, well, I guess he was a detective, really, when you think about it. So best like theme song ever, really. So look up The Littlest Hobo. What
else was there? There's Danger Bay.
Danger Bay. Well, you got to talk about the Beachcombers then, right?
Oh, that's it. Beachcombers. Yeah, that's
the Beachcombers. That was
like
insane because basically like a bunch of
our version of Dukes of Hazzard, but it was like with slow tugboats on the water.
it's like every show they're avoiding like a floating log, right? There's like a log in the river, right? They're trying to,
How do you make Dukes of Hazzard worse?
Like in their way.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah, I remember that show. That was Sunday nights. Yeah.
Oh my God, Bruno Cerruti. Oh, what a good-looking Greek man.
Did any of this influence your comic books, Adrian? Like, is there like any kind of tied to any of these kind of old hokey shows?
You know what? If anything, it would have been The King of Kensington, which is like a late 70s, early 80s show with Al Waxman. So if you're Canadian, you should know who Al Waxman is. Like he was like in every bad Canadian show, every good Canadian show. And so, so he was like this Italian Canadian living in Little Italy in Toronto. And actually, I think it was an area called, well, it must have been Kensington. He's King of Kensington. So the beginning, the intro is just Al Waxman. He's just walking down the street. He's eating a sandwich. He's like shaking hands, and and the music's going on. It's like this like stereotypical Italian kind of like polka sort of whatever. And then at the end is like this big King of Kensington. What a guy! Honestly, I've seriously aged myself.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot, so they can't all be misses, right? We get some gems every now and then.
I mean, it's not New Zealand television, but it's good.
Oh man! Well, I have really good. I don't know about New Zealand, but with Australian TV, I've had pretty good results. Like they have a show called Danger 5, which is probably one of the most enjoyable things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, so like I give Australian TV all the credit in the world just for that show.
Yeah,
have you ever seen us Search for the Wilder People?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, the Ricky Baker song. I've like my family hates me because every now and then I'll go to Netflix, I'll put on the trailer and they do like the Ricky Baker song. Oh,
that's a good movie though. It's a really good movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
I think The Slap was like one of my first Australian shows, like before they Americanized it with the American one. And Secret and Lies, I think that might have been Australian. But I love those are like two of my favorite shows before America ruined it.
Oh, is that the one with Zachary Quinto? Like the American version?
No, I think Ryan Feige.
Really? No, because I thought there was like a show like called The Slap. I was sure it was Zachary Quinto.
Wait.
So
I was talking about Secrets and Lies. The Slap, I don't remember.
Oh, okay, The Slap.
American one because
because I remember there's a barbecue.
And I said, get
Yeah,
out.
there's a
This is
barbecue,
not the
and all of a sudden
Australian
Zachary
clap.
Okay, yeah, they're on a barbecue. All of a sudden, Zachary Quinto's like slapping a kid, and his story goes from there, right?
Yeah, and so the Australian one was like real, like, okay, like it made sense why, you know what I mean? But the American one was like, let's sensationalize, you know, domestic violence, and I was like, oh.
It's like we just go home. Kid got slapped, everyone goes home, and that's it. End of the party. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go into my family barbecue, the kids get slapped.
Right. I'm like, y'all made a whole, 10 episodes.
Put money down on it.
This is just
Which one of the cousins is getting it this month? Yep.
It just turned into a cockfight. Yeah.
Someone say cock.
Just snack that fruit.
Oh man, that's crazy.
All right, man. We made it about 2.5 hours, and I think this was an incredible, fun 25th anniversary celebration. I'd like to go around to get last words on any thing that you guys think you might have missed in 2021, and so you guys can plug all your stuff as you see fit. Sergio, we'll start with you.
Hey, yeah, man. Hey, first of all, thanks for inviting me on, man. You know, it's cool. Loving what you guys are doing at the Pink Buzz, man. You know, the spotlighting like the indie creators and all that good stuff, man. It's dope, man. So, you know, another 25 to you, gents. Yeah, you guys are crushing it. Yeah, you know, Sergio and Surname Comics, man. I'm from the House of Nerd Show, along with my amazing co-host to the left of me. I guess this way. Al, back to legit. Yeah, you know, we go live every Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Joey P's been on. You've been on twice now. Eh?
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, man, you've been on twice, and the last time he was on, we had Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you know, every Sunday, live at 11 a.m. You know, come hang out with us, man. You know, have a good time. And Adrian, I checked out quickly your Trakovi, man. Hey, that art is killer, bro. I'm gonna give it a proper read though.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Yeah. So yeah, man. You know,
thanks.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Ellie, go ahead.
So I'm not exactly legit on Twitter and Instagram. I also am on House of Nerd. We'll leave it at that. And then
she bullied her way onto the show. To be honest, I really wasn't trying to
fake
have
news,
it,
but
like,
we don't have to get into that.
She forced my hand. She's got some dirt.
He messaged me in the middle of the night on a Saturday night and was like, "Please come on Sunday."
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, please, please.
Okay.
I have nobody to call.
So it starts on Saturday, then you come on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, why you have to say it like that, Joey? So
you know me. You know. You opened the door. I had to.
No, the door's been closed. So I do House of Nerd with Sergio, and you know, I'm around on some podcasts outside the panels, and Here We Connect. That's it.
That's it.
Nice.
Bye now.
I know, but House of Nerd is supreme. That's the most important thing in my life.
Oh, okay. Al knows. Hey, big things planned, man. Yeah.
Adrian.
Congratulations on like the 25th. That's, you know, and thanks for having me on. This is really cool, you guys. Actually, you know, honestly, I really want to really say thank you to you guys for, you know, first of all, like reading the thing, the book, and then, you know, liking it and doing the show and all that. So, and then also to like, you know, to the House of Nerd show, you know, for, you know, making a mention of it during that Zdarsky show. So that was really cool. Appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, you can find me at Think Item on Instagram, Twitter, or at 3 Press Comics. Trakovi 1 and 2 digital is available right now. Physical is coming out. Well, it's going to be ready to mail in a couple of weeks, and then issue 3 in about a year. That's
Hell
it.
yeah. Sam.
Oh, me. Anything Schleppzig. If you Google Schleppzig, it's going to be me. I'm the only one out there. You can find me on Instagram as 3 different flavors of Schleppzig. Only 2 of them have anything. That's schleppzig.comics and schleppzig.nsfw. And I'm on Etsy. I'm on Facebook. I'm on a lot of things. Just find all of Schleppzig stuff. Tons of projects coming out. That's pretty much all. More than I can give any credit to. So just check out the Instagrams. That's where all the news comes from. And my streams and blah blah blah, everything. You watch me draw.
And his not safe for work Instagram, which is fantastically curated.
Hold on. So what is that? I'm gonna check it out. Like I'm gonna
forward you the link.
Oh, you're gonna forward me the link?
I'll send
Okay.
it to you.
All right. I'm always down for some not safe for work content.
I put up a lot of stuff on my comics one, schleppzig.comics, but I've been posting some stuff that just doesn't belong there.
Okay.
Last few days.
All right, cool.
Get you banned from Webtoons, stuff.
I'm gonna start a thread. I'm gonna send it to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm working on doing something that I think will pass Webtoons, but really is just wrong.
I can't wait to see it, man.
You can see the sketches on NSFW.
All right, cool. Check that out for sure.
Aaron.
I'm Aaron Reese. You can follow me on Instagram at Aaron Reese Art or on Twitter at Deviator77. I'm the publisher, creator of One Hit Kill Publishing and Black Blizzard. So if you go to onehitkill.com, you can get my comics there. And I have the 3rd one coming out. I think it's going to be probably the end of December.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah, dude. Black Blizzard is so lit. I'm happy that you're kind of putting them out pretty and in pretty fast succession because I want it monthly. I'm that greedy of a reader, but yeah, I can't wait for the next campaign.
Thanks. Yeah, that's coming soon.
All right, Mel.
Yes. So again, I run the publication Horror Geek Life, and we cover horror, but we also cover every genre of comics and gaming as well. And some sci-fi. And so for the creators, if y'all have Kickstarters in the future that you want some press on, you can always send that my way, and I'm happy to help cover all of that. I also relaunched the Horror Geek podcast. So that is back. And so I'm at Horror Geek Mel on Instagram, and we are at Horror Geek Life on Instagram, Twitter, and then of course Facebook. So we have some really awesome writers, and even Pink Buzz's own Matt has given us an awesome article about horror comics here recently.
And he's also on the podcast with you for a few episodes.
Yes, several. Yeah, and he will be here pretty soon too. So
yeah, he's quite the aficionado.
Never stops talking.
Huh?
That's because Mel just never stops talking.
Yeah. Guilty.
Totally going 100 miles an hour this whole time.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's me, and I'll follow everybody on Instagram. And so if y'all want to keep in contact, and like I said, if y'all ever need that press, I'm happy to share the love. So
awesome.
I guess last 2021 has been a great year for comics, especially Kickstarter books. I've enjoyed a lot of what I've read this year. I usually don't have anything bad to say about books. But no, 2021's been a rad year for comics. My biggest regret, I will say this, is not snagging one of those Tricovi action figures. The shit's
just wait. I'm gonna have for the next Kickstarter, we're doing like the full set. So we're doing like the Wendy, the Sing International, and then the Boris the Mint. So there's still time.
Okay.
Well, I've grown to be a
Sorry.
fan in the
Good.
last 2 hours too, so I'm gonna get one.
I'm going to be
But
browsing
no,
as soon as we're done. So
but no, this has been such a fun episode. I'm glad that we have all the people on that we do. We've got a great collection of creators on right now, and I love the way y'all have been going back and forth, especially. It's just nice to see that kind of look inside the industry, because you've all got work that I've appreciated, and so seeing y'all go back and forth has been super fun this evening.
Nice, nicely said, Goose. Joey.
You can find me at 00 Joe Pocket on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, which I rarely use, so don't go there. Just to make Goose jealous, I did back the tier with the action figures, so I like the way it's been
I
looking.
know
So
you
I'll be
can
getting
piece
it.
of shit.
Well, this is the way I approached it. I figured with an hour left, if there's still some left, I'd snag it. If there was none left, then I'd just let it slide. But there was 2 left, so I was like, I grabbed one. So.
Okay, Joe, you know what? You may have gotten the action figure, but I got more Lane Lloyd covers printed, so piss off.
True. That's true.
That's true.
Who do I have to cut? Who do I have to cut?
Well, you didn't have to cut anyone because we got the extra. Got the extra 10 copies added to the print run,
Well,
so you don't have to
I
cut
don't know if y'all
anyone.
know. I had to turn off my camera for a minute because I got a really tempting offer from a jar of white cheddar Cheez-Its, and I couldn't have y'all seeing that. But if y'all didn't notice, my logo, they're so seductive. But my logo was a Lane Lloyd drawing, so I was very appreciative that I was able to snag one of those covers.
And I'd like to thank everyone that came on tonight onto the panel. So that it was a great night. I appreciate all you guys. Had fun, and let's keep this going for another who knows how many more.
Hey, listen.
Hopefully there'll be more than 25 more, but we'll see. There, we'll take it show by show, and
just keep
on. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out.
They're kicking me off after this episode.
We gotta do like a Pink Buzz House of Nerd crossover or something. We gotta come up with something, man.
Yeah, we'll work that out, man, for sure.
Just kill the game. You know what I'm saying?
Like a super group type thing. But I want to touch on something like Goose was talking about. It is a great time for comics. 2021 is amazing, but the thing is there are so many books out right now. There are so many labels that I don't see why anybody even complains about comics. Like, sure, I look at a lot of stuff that Big Two comes out, and I'm like, that doesn't look for me. But I don't have to complain because there is so much other stuff for me to waste my time and money on nonstop. I mean, you Kickstarter and self-published guys keep me busy enough as it is. I mean, you guys are a good 75% of what I've done the past 2 years, and it's exhausting. And I only get a fraction of what comes out of your world as well. That's the thing is, it is so hard to keep up with. Anybody that says that they read everything that's going on in comics is insane. But I would love to see somebody try, dude, because you will not be able to sleep, I don't think, and you will not have a house.
I'll echo what Johnny is saying. If any of you on Twitter, just the Discord about how shit DC or Marvel's doing this with this character, that character, stop with the negativity. Get on Kickstarter. Go grab indie books, man, because there's so many original stories, so many original ideas, so many great creators out there that aren't working at Marvel and DC that are putting out their own stuff. So if you're not happy with Marvel or DC, there's a whole huge world of indie comics out there that you'll find something you love. So instead of going on there and bitching about how Batman doesn't eat out Catwoman or this or that, go get some indie comics, man. Pick up some indie comics, man, because there's something out there for everyone.
Amen to that.
That's true, Joe. I mean, listen. I mean, myself as a reader, man. I grew up on the Big Two, and I stopped kind of enjoying what they were doing for different reasons. And there's a whole other world of dope indie comics, and You know, all these amazing publishers, just the amount of content being put out week after week. I mean, there's no reason to be complaining or to being on the negative side, man. There's a whole lot of dopeness out there, man. So
Well, it's
something for everyone.
I look at it the same way that you hear people say, like, there's no good music out anymore. Like, they don't make music like they used to. It's the same thing with comics. Like, if you don't think that people right now are making good music, like, you're not looking hard enough to find music that you like. Like, there's so many different books coming out, and there's so many different genres, and it literally has appealed to everyone. I've seen books in the most niche genres. And like I don't know, it's comics is a fun world, and if you can't find something you love in it, like I think you're kind of out of your mind.
Crazy, yeah, for sure, 100.
Looking in the wrong places, basically.
Yeah.
Amen to that, and I love the sentiment because positivity is the way we move this forward. We only get through the negativity together, and that is what the Pink Buzz is all about. And I love this community, and I love all the people that were here. I had a kind of a troubling 2021 myself. I got the COVID, and then certain things happened, but doing this show and having Joe have my back and meeting all of you and kind of becoming friendly with all of you has really meant the world to me. And I love that we've made it 25 episodes, and I love that you guys all returned and made this night very special for us. So with that, I have nothing else to say but just the biggest thank you to everybody who's here tonight. And this was the 25th episode of Pink Buzz. Thank you for everybody who showed up in the chat, everybody who showed up on the panel. It means the world, beyond the world to me. And I bid you all adieu.
Thanks.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks very much.